Earth debate, uncut and after show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to On The Level, Thomas van der Zander, Cannabear, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Mr. Amish, Sensual Goat, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, the name's Burley, Twadwazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unamento, Iron26, Endless, Golden McKinnon, Retro Bill, Level Playing Poem, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show. Start again.
Those videos you made, right? Talking to the girls and the couple, and because I heard you say, right, Chocolate? That was the day I just decided to leave. Around.
Okay, what's your point?
That would have been cool. I remember that day. I said,
It would have been cool if you'd have hung around.
Maybe they'll do the book. What?
What would have been cool?
If I was there live when you were doing it.
I can't hear what you're saying now because my wife's making me a cup of coffee.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Hey, Sensual.
Good afternoon. Did you have a good birthday?
Well, I got to do what I wanted to do. So my wife's really good to me on my birthday. She made me steaks. She got me presents. The kids did a little Fortnite skit for me. What else? Played with guns or more. Overwatched the girls play with the guns that I got, like little pellet guns to fire. Fortnite themed again. But for the most part, what I did was edit those videos that came out on my birthday. So I did that from about, I don't know, I did it all through the night, all through the morning, and then I think I went to bed at about 4:30 a.m, got a couple of hours sleep, and then just got up and started editing them, and then started publishing them. So, but I'm smiling because that's what I love doing. So it's not unusual for me to go, oh, what would I like to do? It's my birthday, I can do anything I like. Oh, let's edit a load of really good videos. I can't wait. So that's what I did, and I loved it.
Yeah, good for us. It was hysterical. The one girl, I'm a flat earther. Or you said something about flat earth that you just left.
Actually got a video to go through today that's me, and me and Patrick, I should say. So a very unsubscribed to videographer made a little edit of the Earth discussions or Earth Awakenings. I've forgotten the name of the guy's show. The two guys that me and Patrick debated against. He did like a shorter version. Just took a few of the clips and put some transitions between it basically, but I thought I'll cover it because it's not often you get to cover your own material, and obviously just without shouting yourself out. Not that I'm averse to shouting myself out, I do it all the time, but in this case it means at least I can shout out the videographer who made it or did the edit. So I'll dig that out. It's still absolutely sweltering hot here today, so as I have done the last couple of days, I'm going to only operate on one monitor so I don't have to have the projector on and boil. It's still sweltering hot, I'm still sweat pouring off me. It just means the whole point of telling you that was just going to take.
You know.
Hold on. The whole point of me telling you that was to say it's going to take me a little bit longer to do things, just because I'm on one screen.
So you're doing well on TikTok then?
Yeah, but just just because of the Omi or whatever they're called, Omi TV videos. So in the space of about 24 hours, I got approximately 40,000 views on TikTok. Now, typically, I'll put a video up every time I do a shorts video or something. I'll put it up on TikTok, and it might get, if it's good, it might get 1,000 views. If it's really good, it might get 1,500. But typically, they get 300 or 400. You know, because I'm not big on TikTok. I've got maybe 1,000 subscribers. So to see videos getting 20,000 views, you're like, whoa.
You know why that is?
People just like the videos, I guess. I can't think of any other reason.
TikTok is popular. Yo, that kid was funny. The one that was flexing. You were like, we can't see you.
Say again, Neil. Like I say, it's a bit noisy here at the minute. I've got all the windows open and I can hear the road noise. Normally in my lovely isolated 25 dB noise floor studio, it's silent and I'm happy. Whereas I'm not. I'm boiling up. All the windows open. I can hear all the road noise. I can hear people talking, and my wife's making coffee. So until it settled down a bit, I'm going to struggle to hear you. It's just the way it is.
No worries. Central Goat heard me.
What did you say?
The kid that started flexing when he found out he was going to be on YouTube.
Yeah, there was a few weirdos. I mean, you're speaking to somebody every 2 or 3 seconds in there, so you kind of lose track. And at the end, I remember saying to Chocolate, "Oh, I'm sure I've got at least 2, maybe 3 clips," and there ended up being about 12.
Well, fair play to you. Maybe that's something you can chip away at. Maybe put an hour or 2 a week into it on the weekends.
As much as I did do it on my birthday and I do love what I do, that's why I did it, it did actually exhaust me. So afterwards, and I was completely burnt out, but knowing full well that I had a day off to follow, which is probably why I did it, just because I thought I won't do this regularly because I will just burn out instantly because it takes so much effort in the moment and editing it. So I thought if I just limit it to maybe once a month or maybe once every couple of weeks or something, because the next time I do it, it may be nowhere near as successful. I might genuinely, in the 3 or 4 hours I sit there clicking next on endless garbage that you can't use, there might be nothing at the end of that period. So in other words, I probably won't mention when I do it. You'll know because I'll put material out, if you know what I mean.
Well, it's working by the look of it. Every so many videos is popular. It's going to help grow your channel. Might as well just plug away at it every so often.
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely want to do it again. Right, I'm going to get this in my, mental to-do list. So I've got this videographer that did that edit I was mentioned a second ago. Don't Shoot the Messenger is the name of the videographer. So I'll put a link to him in the YouTube live chat, so don't forget. Chances of somebody in the mod team being able to find him pretty slim. Right, we'll come back to that in the live stream. Anything? I haven't paid the slightest bit of attention to anything, which is typically the case anyway, but less so over the last few days. Has anything been occurring?
Not that I've seen.
Good morning.
Morning.
What could be occurring when you take off? There's nothing out there.
Well, I don't agree. I actually saw several thumbnails that alluded to the idea of Jeranism turning tail and suggesting we're on a ball. which is interesting. Level Earth Observer
Really?
did a video. Yeah. Level Earth Observer did a video about it. He's basically saying so big it's flat.
Did you see his live stream last night?
No. I just saw the only thing I've seen about it is Level Earth Observer's video that he released in the last 2 hours.
He was trying to say that what's it called? Modus ponens, like what Kiwi's thing, if Q then P, if not P then, well, I just said it wrong, but whatever. With the black swan, he's applying that same thing to a 24-hour.
Yeah, he's relabeled and affirming the consequent modus tollens. Shocking.
I just left my yard. You guys may not have heard anything I said.
No, I heard you. You're saying he's calling the logic of the 24-hour sun modus tollens. Well,
correct.
Yeah, a failure to recognise and affirming the consequent. That's all that is. And
He's
inability to identify faulty logic.
He was debating some guy last night who kept telling him that. His name was Synthetic something. I've never seen or heard of the other guy he was debating. But he's like, "You're such an asshole, dude. You're worse than Nathan Oakley." Blah, blah, blah. He kept saying that.
Yes, because I've told him. I sent him a message and broke it down for him. Now he's decided to do what the ballers do. Seems like Jaren's a shill.
Yeah, he's just looking for an off-ramp.
But he's fighting for the ball.
Maybe he'll get like a...
If he's fighting for that premise, he's fighting for the ball, isn't he?
That'd be good for him. It'd be good business for him. I hate to say that. I hope that's not true. But if he was to flip and become a Glober, he might get his own Netflix show.
That was the case. He was preordained to be that way.
I wonder what happened to him. Because he kept calling everything the other guy was saying, begging the question and then affirming the consequent. But how does he not see that with the final experiment? It doesn't make any sense. He's smart. I mean, he might be dumb, but he's not that dumb. I don't know. I think he knows what he's doing.
What he's saying is, why would an intelligent man that is well aware of the fallacy within an argument fight the complete opposite that only benefits our opponent on the globe side when they're claimed to be a flat earther? There are many conclusions you can draw from that. I hope you realise.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't want to believe it. But if I suddenly turned around tomorrow and said science doesn't prove anything, and let's go beg the question / affirm the consequent and call it modus tollens, in Antarctica there might be a 24-hour sun, and if there is, Earth must be a ball. There's a whole series of home depots on a globe. Okay? You'd be a bit sus, wouldn't you?
Just a little bit.
Right.
That's why I am with him. Like, I feel like there's got to be something more to it.
Look, right, Jaren's here to fuck things up. That's all he's here for. That's why he went on Netflix. Hold on, I think I'm... You telling me off for swearing? Sorry. My wife's telling me no swearing.
I know my daughter just yelled at me for swearing in the car.
Okay, no swearing. Anyway, yeah, he's here to mess things up from the inside. Seems like that's a textbook controlled opposition style move. If you want to lead the opposition, you put somebody in that's likable, you get them all there with the truth and good information, and then at various different points, you lead them all off a cliff. Well, he's done it once with Netflix, now he's doing it again. Fool me once.
See, that's how I feel, too. It's the same group, too, that's always getting put on Netflix, and now they're the same group of guys are the ones going along with this quote-unquote final experiment. It's
Right.
very obvious what they're doing. No. Although, to be fair, I haven't heard Dave Weiss talk too much about it, but I know he's got his little fingers in that pie, too.
Quote, Dave Weiss.
I mean, him and Jared.
Quote, hold on. It could be a really big ball. End quote. David Weiss.
Yeah. That guy, yeah. Sucks, man. I used to be a huge fan of him too. Like up until I started coming over here like 3 or 4 years ago, I thought he was the man.
Yeah, the better the
And
work we do here,
then,
the more shtick we get from Jaren. The more we get called chills, the better the work we do is. Literally.
correct.
While he's simultaneously messing everything up from the inside and going on Netflix and confirming that we're on a ball with these quote-unquote experiments. And all he's got to say on camera for the total failure, non-experiment pseudoscience is interesting when he balls everything up from the inside. Okay.
I've never watched that documentary. I should go watch it.
I haven't actually watched it.
Because I don't understand what he's saying interesting. What he's saying interesting about. I know he's like trying to hold up a board and trying like watch it through it.
Yeah. Messing around with parlor
He's a
tricks.
scammer.
It's just messing around with parlor tricks, isn't it?
Right. That's all it is.
Maybe you want to
What's up, Bush? How you doing?
You're breaking up quite a lot, Vaxi.
Oh, my bad. I'll go on mute. I'm driving, so.
All good, bro. Thanks for asking. I hear you guys talking about this. I got a couple of clips from Witsit and Jaron's conversation from Ballbusters. Very interesting, but for some reason I can't share it in Skype. So maybe I'm gonna send it to Righteous and he can share it.
Okay.
Witsit was talking about how it's 90% of people who are coming new to FE are all into Ether and all that. And some broken logic from 24/7 Antarctica trip. Let me just send the vids and Nathan, check it out if you want, man. I don't know if it's worth a review, but it's definitely worth hearing what they're saying.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
Righteous, you don't mind if I send it to you? Because for some reason,
Yeah.
the Skype is just not working well with me. If I share a link, it just shows like a YouTube link for YouTube. No matter what I put, it just shows the YouTube link. Not sure what's going on. Like I said, I'm not a computer whiz, man. I'm really bad with these things. I can't figure shit out on computer for shit, dude. So I'm gonna send that right now.
Anyone notice that the show number is it 65? Well, I'm going to guess it is.
Wait, what was that, Nathan? You said
Just trying to figure out the show number. I think it's 65. I just went back in. I normally change it after the show's finished anyway, but because there's been a couple of days off, I thought I'll at least get the number right. While you're looking for videos, we could actually listen to this guy's video. So it ends up being in this pre-show. You up for that? Yes, Nathan.
Let's go.
Right, I'll share it in. If I share it in here, it should reach the audience as well. Figuring out workarounds on the. Which flipping window is it? Oh,
That's
there it is.
weird. It just shows YouTube. It doesn't show the thumbnail.
Again,
All
Righteous?
right, it works.
wait.
Yeah, I got it in Skype.
You got okay. Well,
Oh.
we're doing this now anyway, so.
I'll just throw them in and I'll let you guys chew them apart. So, number one, why can't you see Polaris from the southern hemisphere or Sigma Octantis from the northern hemisphere?
So
That's the first
the
question.
hemisphere is a begging the question fallacy again, like atmosphere. It's assuming that Polaris isn't visible from the bottom half of a sphere. Meanwhile, the maps and models are derived from elevation angle measurements to Polaris. So the flat maps and flat models, including the globe, which is converted from these elevation angle measurements to Polaris by way of something called the Haversine formula. which converts flat Earth elevation angle measurements to Polaris to give you latitude lines onto a globe spherical surface. And if you're going to do celestial navigation, you have to convert it back from the flat map, not through Haversine and the globe, onto the celestial sphere, which is the dome of the vision you have when you're on a flat ocean at the equatorial plane, which is how you measure these angles. So to ask how we beg the question of being on the bottom antipodal on a hemisphere to see Polaris, when the very concept of the equator itself is based on the minimum angle you can see Polaris with. So at the equator, you're measuring a flat Earth angle to Polaris at its minimum, i.e. where Polaris is on the horizon. And as you move further towards the centre, i.e. towards the North Pole, the angle to Polaris, that's a flat Earth angle measurement, increases as you approach Polaris, i.e. it goes up and up and up in the sky. Well, that's a flat Earth angle that you're asking about for a flat Earth concept, the equator, and then imposing your begging the question hemispherical assumption onto that flat Earth derivation to ask me how we can't see it off the bottom of your assumption that we'd angle off the bottom of a sphere. Crap question.
It's also important.
Do you have a picture of the map that you agree upon as to being a map of the flat Earth? Do you have
all of
anything
them
like
are
that?
flat? You show me a globe-shaped map.
No. I'm asking.
I answered you. All of them.
Change.
All of them. They're all flat. Do you know why? Because they need to work with elevation angles. That's why all maps are flat. If you're at sea and you're using a map to navigate, you're going to measure one line along the ground and one line to the star. That's an angle. Then you're going to draw a circle on a map. That's why it's flat. That's why they're not globe-shaped. You can't do celestial navigation on a curved surface because you can't acquire an elevation angle from a curve. It's an angle. It's two straight lines. That's why they're all flat. So now you've asked me, do you want to show me your globe-shaped map that anybody navigated with ever? Because there isn't one. They're all flat for a reason. So you can navigate with them with the flat Earth elevation angle measurement off a flat plane that you'll be getting from a sextant.
Josh, why do they flatten out maps?
I just told you. Is it like I'm not
That's your
here?
opinion.
Is it I say something and then you appeal to someone else?
Hey, I'm asking a question.
Yeah. Is it okay if we ask questions?
Yeah, no. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah. Well, because our perception, right? Maybe there's a way to look at this in a different way. Is we're all talking about how we perceive reality. Am I correct on that? Is how we
No, we were
perceive
talking about
reality?
maps and I was answering him, but now we could talk about something else because you don't know.
I came in, well, that's one. I came in at the middle of the conversation because I was letting my kids in the door.
All right. Do you want me to fill you in? We were talking about maps and how they're derived from flat Earth elevation angle measurements to Polaris to give you latitude. Obviously, you're not an exact expert on this subject. Meanwhile, I know what the hell I'm talking about. Do you want to carry on talking about this with me, Dave? Or do you want to hand it over to your host who doesn't know anything about it?
This is, you know,
I want to have Josh's. I just want to ask his opinion on it. He
doesn't know.
I just want to know.
You're not clear.
what his
He doesn't
opinion
know.
is.
Well,
No,
let's
Nathan,
find out.
Let's find out. Why don't you shut up for a sec and let's find out? How about that?
It goes back to the same thing that we've been talking about this whole time, and we're never going to come to an agreement on.
Profound.
Is that the perception of curve.
Nathan, shut up.
Yeah.
I'm going to
The
mute you.
perception of curve, okay, is not realized with eye length distance to the horizon. And so early navigators, they produce flat Earths. We still produce flat maps today. What's wrong with that?
Because you claim we're on a sphere?
Flat. What's that?
Because you claim we're on a sphere. He's asking me about these flat maps. Like,
I didn't ask you anything. I'm asking Josh. But there's utilitarian reasons why they would put it onto a map for the ability to do these things. But that doesn't mean it scales to the fact that it's saying that the Earth itself is flat. It's
why
just,
is that?
it's a utilitarian
No, really?
purpose.
Why is
But I
that?
just wanna-
Well, maybe you can tell us why.
Nathan, I'm talking to Josh.
I'm just asking,
talking
are we
to
allowed
Josh,
to
man.
ask questions? I'm just asking why that would be. Why
because
would they scale
I'm
it
trying
to a
get
flat
Josh
map?
to answer it,
Maybe
so
you
I'm
could
gonna
tell
mute
me.
you.
Why is that?
And Josh, could you give it a shot there? Go ahead.
Well, no, you're right. Is that there's many reasons why we use a flat map. I mean, navigators weren't going to go out there and just create. Some of them had globes, but it's hard to navigate on that for the exact reasons that Nathan said. Is because when you're looking at the horizon on perspective, it appears horizontal. I've agreed with this. I
Right.
have not said this wasn't the case. I said the reason why it appears horizontal is because we have a limited perspective to the horizon, and that the curvature of
Oh, I've
the
been
Earth is
muted by the host.
negligible towards that horizon.
Oh, that's the end
towards
of
that
my time in
perspective.
this discussion, clearly.
Okay.
This
So,
is what I'm trying to
I'm
say. Is like
hearing-
we're all like observing the same phenomena,
No worries.
and that
So for my audience, this is what happens when you point out that the host of the show hasn't got the slightest fucking idea what he's talking about. The co-host wants to hand across to him because I'm proving a flat Earth. Meanwhile, I'm getting muted while this dick waffles on about absolutely nothing interesting.
I think I'm probably. I want you to answer about the sun. Let's go with the sun. What do you say to that?
Oh, I thought we covered it. Why does the not actual size of the sun not change in not actual size as it moves from its not actual position
I didn't
throughout the
say
day?
actual size.
And my bad, I
That's
was in
not
the
what I
middle of
meant. I
summarizing
didn't
your
mean
position.
actual size.
Obviously, this is me being
Observer.
angry. Right? Me being angry, interrupting you. So why does the not actual size of the sun not change in not actual size as it moves?
Hey, Greg. Check one. Check.
Hello.
Your
Hello.
trip is good, Nathan. This was one of my favorite shows, man. Just want to let you know, this was the best.
Well, this has been trimmed out by someone else, so I will plug him again. So this is Don't Shoot the Messenger. But he's only got 11 subscribers. So I thought, look, I don't know how long it takes to edit stuff, even when it's not the material you've produced yourself. It just takes some time. So I thought, oh, well, might as well cover it again. An excuse to cover my own stuff, obviously. But at least it'll hopefully grow that little YouTuber when his link gets distributed out amongst the live stream when we do start. I've put it in the live stream, but... So yeah, Don't Shoot the Messenger. And he's named this video Nathan Oakley versus Religious Globe Zealots, in case you couldn't tell which side of the argument is on.
Moves from its not actual position? I'm not going to answer that. But I will carry on with asking you if you know where the equator or the equatorial plane has come from for a second time.
Well, it's based on the concept that Earth is a sphere. So there's an equator.
Wrong.
And
How is it derived then from a sphere? Tell me.
I don't know. Tell me.
Why did you make that claim then? Hold on. I'm replying to him.
you just asked us to answer it.
He didn't know. I heard his answer. He said he
I don't
didn't know.
I'm not a mathematician. I'm
But
not
you
a
made a
physicist. I'm just
claim. My bad. I'm responding to you. You don't know. Now I'm responding to you because I do. You're not going to yield even though he doesn't know.
The equator is a line.
No, I'm telling you that I'm going to show you the argument. Okay, it's not. I'm just posing arguments here because I want to know how you guys respond to this stuff.
That look slapped all over my face is, oh, right, you get to make a baseless assertion that the derivation of the equatorial plane is from a sphere. I say, how? I don't know. Well, I bleeding do. Right, but I'm not going to get a chance to say that. He just gets to spew his baseless assertion and then it's rumpusing from his wingman. Right, that's what's actually just happened.
Okay, this was an argument. This was a challenge that was posed by Red's Rhetoric once again. He even put a Mavic
Do you want to get him on?
Pro
Get him on.
as a. Oh, I'd love to.
You don't
but
know what you're talking about. This is your claim.
I just want to put the argument.
telling people
okay?
they
You don't know the argument. I'm trying to address it.
Have a
I've already
discussion.
tried to address it, and every
Thanks.
time I try and talk, somebody's talking through me. You
Because
don't know
all you're
where the
doing is just
equator.
saying the same thing.
Same
over
thing
and over.
again.
I'm getting frustrated because this is my argumentation point that I've put to them by suggesting this is how Earth is measured flat and how it's used in navigation. I put it to him, how's it measured? He baseless spews that it's come from a globe, and then there's no rebuttal allowed. He's not allowed to move on, right? This is it. And this is what happens on a neutral platform. If you've got a winning point, they'll shut it down. In spite of the fact that he's just self-confessed, he doesn't know how his baseless assertion is backed. Well, I do. It was my point. I raised it. It's on the table because I put it there. Do I get to make my conclusion? Nah.
And here we go. My God, what is your problem?
Conversation. You're not even answering the freaking questions that Dave.
The question was mine. I put it on the table. He doesn't know the answer to it, and he said that. Now I'm being told I'm not answering the question as I get rumpus to all hell. This is neutral platform, by the way.
David has been asking you.
What about the equator? I asked him where the equatorial plane came from, and he didn't.
There it is. You have been muted. I mean, you're not going to allowed to round out your point that you made, put on the table, and you didn't have an answer for. No way. Mute him. No. Co-host who doesn't know anything, literally anything, is the one that's allowed to railroad the actual winning point. This is why I hosted my own show in the first place. People think I've never been out on the road. You never leave your echo chamber. It's like I used to go out on the road all the time before I had the flat earth debate, and this is what would happen. Just turn your mic down and mute you. Yeah? Or rumpus the crap out of you and mute you when you've got a winning point. They don't want to hear it. They want to railroad you. And they want to spew, oh, well, of course it's come from a globe, equatorial plane. Oh, the name plane suggests it comes from a globe. How do you prove it? I don't know. Well, I do. Let's quick rumpus him.
No, and now I'm getting talked through again.
Yeah.
You don't know where the equatorial plane came from or what the equator's... My bad, I'm never going to get this statement out. Never going to get the statement out.
But my question is that if we're going to claim that the Earth is flat, how do I know this? And it can't come about through debunking curved Earth. Does that make sense?
Because all of the maps and models that you use, including a globe, were made using flat Earth elevation angle measurements to Polaris. Without exception, your globe model included, they're all flat. They're all derived from flat measurements. The same flat measurements that you use to navigate. That's an elevation angle measurement off a flat baseline. When you describe the 1 degree for every 60 nautical miles, that's 1 degree of declination of the star in your sextant, not 1 degree of a curved Earth. You're measuring.
Well, I'm actually, Patrick.
Nathan. My bad. I'm just answering your question after a long, prolonged request for us to prove the flat Earth to you. I'm just answering that. Not lots of waffle and prefacing. Just answering
on what I said, so I wanted to correct that. If that's okay, is that okay to do that? If you made an incorrect assumption on what I said, I took the circumference of the Earth, divide by 360, you get 69 miles. I was given an approximation of about 75 miles. And this equates to 1 degree. If a circle's 360 degrees, we can all agree on that. If we divide 360 by the circumference of the Earth.
So what he's doing here is he's decided that because he said it's 1 degree for every 70 miles earlier, when I correct him in the middle of my explanation for how a flat Earth's measured, he feels that he should interject to correct his incorrect assertion that I'm correctly identifying within my monologue. Now, I'm going to jump straight through the middle of your monologue because I've said something stupid and you've corrected it, so I'm going to go through and explain why I made that stupid assertion right in the middle of you talking and making your evidence in answer to a question he asked me.
Assertion.
Go on.
While making another one on top of it.
Earth, as in the sense of the globe Earth model, we should get 1 degree of arc length. Can we all agree on that? That makes sense?
I can agree that if you beg the question that the surface is a spherical one, that you can get 1 degree of 360. However, in practical application, when navigating the surface of the Earth and referencing elevations to sea level, you can measure the declination of stars in the sky based on a flat Earth angle. Yes, I appreciate you can beg the question that means the surface is curving, but you can't get elevation angle measurements from a curved surface.
A few moments later.
Idea that you're measuring an angle using 2 straight lines.
One of which is acquired by pointing the sextant at the horizon and leveling the tool. If you're on a ship, obviously rocking back and forth.
Correct.
You rock the sextant to get it lined up with the horizon. That is what you do to establish the baseline. That's a flat line to measure an angle. You'll be measuring that baseline, and once you've got it, you can measure the angle to the star. Now, that angle will be minus from 90 and times by 60 to give you the distance to the GP. That's the ground position of the star. That would be, or sun, or moon, or whatever else you're measuring in the sky. That ground position is the position where the sun or star is directly above at that time. Now, your horizon, if you're very low to the ground, might only be a couple of miles away. But you're establishing a horizontal baseline with a ground position below that star. That's a flat Earth. It can only be measured flat. That's what an angle is. There's my flat Earth proof. Not agree to disagree.
Okay.
It's not a claim either. It just is celestial navigation. My claim
so Nathan, let me ask you this.
My claim with...
So at the absolute crescendo of me making my statement, 2 hours and 31 minutes into this discussion, I'm finally laying it down as my claim. and he's holding his hand up and cannot wait to interrupt the conclusion. Yeah, this is just too painful for them.
Celestial navigation is that you cannot acquire an elevation angle measurement for celestial navigation if the Earth has a curved surface. It can only be done, it's a prerequisite that Earth must be flat to perform celestial navigation. I'm not.
Is there a required distance for that horizon to be for this to work? Yes or no?
No.
Oh, so I could do it in my. So if I was, let's just say I'm outside and I have a table on a ship, I could use the edge of that table to determine the flat baseline.
No.
Why not?
Because the table's on a ship moving around on the sea. That's why you use the horizon.
But there is no distance requirement to use this. We only have to have a required horizontal base, correct?
Yeah, you look in the horizon mirror, not the table mirror.
Okay. So, like you said, though, is the horizon can be very far away or it can be closer. So there's no.
We are clear that the horizon's not a table.
Right,
I'm
GP.
clear. I just want to make sure you understand. You understand the horizon isn't a table.
I understand, but the table is a flat plane.
But it's not a horizon, which is what you look at in the sextant in the horizon mirror.
Correct. And that's kind of where I was saying is I agree with you on how the sextant works. But
With the
that
flat
does
plane.
not equate to the Earth being flat.
It can't not
because-
be. It can't measure an angle. If one of the lines is curved, then it wouldn't be an angle, would it?
Well, it's not a precise instrument. It's not
It is.
100,000%.
It's an angle
accurate.
measuring
It's an
device. That's
approximate
pretty precise.
instrument.
Yes, it is. You're wrong.
It's pretty precise. It's
Very.
an approximation.
Yeah, very. It's an
Pretty
angle. It just
precise.
measures angles.
Right. And that's because the distance from a person to the horizon is predominantly flat because the curvature is insignificant at that level.
No, you're using the horizon to establish a flat baseline that could extend thousands of miles beyond the horizon in order to get the GP position of the star so that you can navigate by finding your position with that GP across a circle
give
of
me an
equal. My
example
bad, still
of
in the
the
middle of
horizon
explaining how Earth's flat
extending
to you.
thousands of
My
miles
bad, just
through
proving Earth's flat to you. My bad.
Don't
A
get
circle,
triggered. I'm
I'll try
asking
again
you
for a
a
third
question through
time.
your own
A
words.
circle of equal elevation. That's a flat circle. No elevation change. Flat.
Anyways. Thank you,
Seriously,
Nathan. I
Josh,
appreciate that.
Josh, we
Okay.
have been here. We have been here. We have been here for 2.5 hours, Josh. We have spent most of this time talking about why the curvature is undetectable, how we would go about detecting that curvature. This is just a listening kind of question. How would we design that demonstration to measure the curvature of the Earth?
Well, you can take two people in different parts of the country or relatively far away, right? And we can measure the sun at equal times of the day. Now, if the Earth is flat, we can make approximations of what those angles would look like. And the Earth is curved, we can make approximations of what the
angle?
curvature would look like. Am I
You'll
correct?
need
on
flat
that?
Earth for those
I mean,
angles.
first of all, no, it has nothing to do with curvature, but
So this is not a good experiment to do.
It's not an experiment
You
at
wouldn't
all
expect
because there's
or a
what's the
test.
fun.
It
Okay,
wouldn't be a te- it wouldn't be a good
okay.
test
Stop. What's the first step in the scientific method, please, David?
to make an observation.
No, incorrect. Observation of a phenomenon. That's something occurring that you want to know the cause of.
That's an observation.
That's
No. That's an incomplete statement because there's nothing
Okay,
to
fine.
explain
Pick
the
it apart.
cause of
It's the
if
same
nothing.
shit.
My bad.
know what I
My
mean.
bad. I'm just correcting you. I know it's painful. There's
Okay,
nothing
buddy.
to study the cause
You
of
get
if
picked on a
nothing
lot?
happened.
Like, what's up with the
Third
hackles
attempt. I
being
know
the
it's
whole
painful
time?
when you're wrong. It's not
I was
observation
wrong. I said to make an observation.
of a naturally occurring phenomenon.
It's not
I
changing
realise
any
that
results,
now
and I
4
see
people
one
are
over the horizon.
talking
There's
while
an
I'm trying to make the
observation.
correction. I know you don't like being corrected. It's not me being angry. It's just the 4th attempt for me to say you're wrong. That's an incorrect assertion because an
He asked the
observation.
question.
Get anywhere with
5th
this
attempt.
shit. We
5th
can't get
attempt to show
anywhere.
why I was wrong. 5th attempt.
Yeah.
Can't get anywhere.
Listen,
All
It's
right,
only the
guys,
5th
we
attempt
can't
to
get
finish
anywhere.
this
Nathan,
statement.
100th
No,
attempt
I'm
because I
saying
honestly,
Fifth
like,
attempt.
honestly, man,
I'm not
This
allowed
is
to
gonna
correct him then. He's just not
he
allowed
asked
to be
a
wrong.
question.
Not
No,
allowed
no,
to be
no,
wrong.
no,
He
this is
wasn't
just-
wrong. He asked
Yeah, he
you
was.
a
Now got
question.
muted.
don't
I
understand
love
how
it.
that's-
So for my audience's benefit, I can mute them too on my recording and say that this fuckwit doesn't know what science is. Science involves observation of a naturally occurring phenomena. That's step one in the scientific method. It's an incomplete statement to say observation is first step. So he mutes me. After he rinses and repeats 4 times, and I say, no, you're going to have my correction. No, I'll be muted by the host. Yeah, neutral platform, this one. Yeah, I'm not allowed to be correcting anybody on the panel when they're wrong about what science is.
$10. I now believe the earth is flat. Thanks a lot, fellas. Like I didn't have enough things going on. LOL. The round earth guys are just talking over and have no arguments.
This is him reading out his own super chats, and his own super chats are going great. And like, I didn't have enough to worry about. Now I know the earth's flat, and you guys are just talking all over them. So it's obvious to the audience what's going on, because they're literally paying him to tell him you're just rumpusing your guests, and your guests have convinced me earth's flat now.
They're looking foolish to me. All right.
Yeah, even the audience knows. Not only am I being talked over, I'm being muted whenever I correct him, and he doesn't like being corrected. So you can see on screen now, host has muted you.
We're disappointing. We couldn't.
David, if you're the host, you're a scumbag. You've muted your guests just because you're wrong and don't know what science is. My audience will hear how wrong you are while you've got me on mute with this little label saying the host muted your mic. How epic. How unbelievably rude. You invite me on your show. I come here for free, and all you can do is mute me. The audience knows how scummy you've been, talking through every last word we've said. But you feel the need to mute me as I tell you how you don't know how science works. Epic.
A few moments later.
Obviously, I'm going to get completely rumpus and talk through.
Yes,
Takes.
you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah, every time I've talked, I have. So why would I expect anything different?
Oh, yeah.
This is me angry.
But
this is me getting angry,
okay.
right?
No. You're just annoying, and that's just the fact.
Winning.
So
yeah, it's annoying for people who think they're really confident about Earth being a globe.
Keep telling yourself that, buddy. Josh, how about you give a shot on this? What do you think about this?
I'm not allowed to give it a shot? Oh, right, I was just on mute for 5 minutes.
I was 10 seconds into my answer. David.
Go ahead, Patrick. I
mean, Nathan gets mad for a reason. Okay, so I'm gonna try again. All right. So the fact is that we said repeatedly that we can show.
A big shout out to you, Don't Shoot the Messenger. Thank you very much for hacking that together. I really appreciate it. Let's go to the meet room, stop sharing, present some accounts. Yes, I want to present that. Yeah, good. Done. Okay, right. We've also got some clips from, I've forgotten who said it was, who was it that
like with the 24-hour sun thing, it's like,
who was it that shared these a second ago?
when flat earthers say that there's a
Oops, sorry. Who is it?
Might have been Mighty Mush.
Yeah, just from Ballbusters, Jaren and Witsit.
Did you want to? Are these good enough to save for the live show? I assume if you've clipped them, you know exactly what's in them.
Let's do it on the live.
Yeah, man. Like, you can wait for live if you want.
Would you rather have this house?
Witsit talking about how 90% of the people that are new to the topic come into FE are on board with the ether and electrostatics and all that stuff. I just
You
thought
know
it was
what's sad
interesting.
about that? It's true. It's absolutely true.
I don't know
We're
if
the
that's
only
true,
ones.
man.
Wishful thinking, maybe.
No, it's not, Nathan. Pay attention. They're all talking about ether all over TikTok. He spread his freaking nonsense broad and wide.
So, don't worry about it. Look, as long as you're not encouraging the Pied Piper, Neil, you can only reactively deal with them in the way we do. If we proactively go after them all the time, we're as bad as they are.
No. When it comes across our desk, we will take care of it. Like this has come across our desk. It's interesting that they're watching and they know. Which it says that we put ourselves in a corner and we're screwed, basically. How did he say it, Mighty Mush? Because you listen to the same thing I listen to.
You must be tied up doing something else, Neil. Just tell us, Neil.
Something like what we say, how we go against this dielectric acceleration and electromagnetism, we all believe it anyway, whether we believe it or not. And he hates when he sees people he likes back themselves into a corner, and now they're stuck with the answers they gave. They can never retract them. And we don't want to retract them, buddy.
Mush, you there?
Yes, I'm here for a few more minutes, but I will be here, but I won't be able to unmute. But yeah, I'm here for now. What's up, buddy?
Neil, ask your question again quickly.
I was asking you if you heard the part where I'm not sure how he said it, but in other words, we on Flat Earth Debate have backed ourselves into a corner, coming against this dielectric acceleration and the electric universe, whatever the hell it is. And he hates it when he sees people that he likes doing that to themselves. Did you hear that part?
Well, glad I queued him up.
No, great.
Oh, sorry, I had the line closed because someone was making noise. Can you repeat that, Mush? I had the line closed.
I guess Witsit said he debated you guys. He explained everything, and all he gets in return is name calling and stuff like that. Pretty much what Niels is saying. That sounds like Witsit, yeah.
No. He said he called us out. He offered to debate any of us, and it's obvious that the audience spoke. Yeah.
Okay.
He's in delusional world.
Yeah.
Okay, one sec. Diego, can you put yourself on local mute if you can hear us? And then Endless, go ahead.
Hey, we at the point in the ether cycle where it's back to being science again.
Say that one more time, Endless.
We in the point in the ether cycle where it's back to being science again.
Oh, okay. So they've sort of shed that and called it Michelson-Morley or the MLE for a few months to get us off their back, and now it's back to, yes, of course it's science. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, it's either philosophy when you ask them directly, and then when they wander away for a while, it becomes science again.
Yeah, that's why it wasn't obvious at first, a couple of years ago, and over time it's become more and more obvious. The more we highlight the grift, the magic trick, it was the exact same problem when I went on Globebusters and said, look, this isn't an experiment, here's what science is. Here's how it affirms the consequent. Done nothing else with these guys other than that pretty much since. This is how an affirming the consequent works. That isn't science. And the more I've done it, the more they've ramped up the Nathan's a scammer, he's scamming you with science, and all the things I'm attacking them on are what they project straight back onto me. Yeah. So that's their purpose. That's what they're here for. The more they do it, the more obvious it becomes. Yeah. They need the magic trick, is what I'm trying to drive at here. They need to be able to say, like the heliocentrists do, this is science, because they know how powerful it is. They know how much credibility it gets them. It's grown their channel. It's built their credibility channels. So that's what they've lent into, and they're too far in. Once you're in that deep going, yeah, we've got the science to back what you now believe us about, you want to retain that credibility. The moment they turn around and go, okay, this isn't science, that will have an adverse effect on quite a number of people that have fell for the same dupe that they fell for when they bought Timotei shampoo and Michelin tyres because the science said it was better. Therefore, science, therefore proof, therefore it got to be correct. Well, people will start questioning that, where currently they just, well, the science is behind this. There's the science for this ether. No, there isn't. And we highlight that, so we're a threat to basically their very essence in this arena. Their very being is threatened by us, isn't it? because we highlight the grift. We highlight where they haven't got science. Now, unfortunately for us, pointing that out isn't going to be the road to success. Giving people a dream of free energy and an ethereal area to replace the sky vacuum is going to be a lot more popular. Now, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. As far as I'm concerned, I will always be reactive to this stuff when it's put at my doorstep. That's what we do here, and I loved every minute of doing it. But in terms of losing sleep over what Jaren is doing with a group of people, I rationalise it by comparing it to ghost hunters or Bigfoot hunters. Okay, they're Etherians. Now, for a time, there was a minor concern that the offshoot of Flat Earth that became Tartarianism was also a concern. We've all but forgotten about them. Why? Well, because we aren't necessarily on the case of Tartarians telling their audience that they're scammers because they're claiming that they've got mudhood houses proven with science. They're not doing that. So we basically leave them alone. But unfortunately, our counterparts in the Ethereum category do suggest they've got science when they haven't. Now, us pointing out where science has been used to deceive you onto being a ball, it's a double-edged sword because it attacks their narrative also, because they're using the same grift. Well, I'm not going to concern myself with it. You know, all you can do is be honest and, you know, stand by what you believe in all you like in the face of actual reality and measurements and truth. Or you can stand by what you believe in and claim it's been proven with science, in which case, yeah, you're going to have us on our, you're going to be on our radar indefinitely. There's nothing else that's going to be, because you're standing against our rhetoric, aren't you? We show people how science proves things and it's advanced humanity. The audience goes out and seeing you doing what we've trained them to spot as a scam. We go, if someone says they've got science, ask them what their phenomena was and what they presumed as a cause and vary to prove it was. And if they haven't got that, it's pseudoscience, and just know that that's how people have scammed you onto being on a ball. Off you go. Toddling along they go into Globebusters. Oh, well, we've got the science for ether. Now, obviously, this audience, my audience, is going to go, what gives? This ain't science. And when they put it in their comment section, this ain't science. I was watching Nathan's show and he pointed out how this isn't a cause and effect relationship based on naturally occurring phenomena and a causal influencer being independently varied so you can validate it as the cause. You haven't done any of that. Comment deleted. What should I do? I know. Scammer time. Nathan's a scammer. That's Jaren's reaction. Now, I can summarise it now in about 5 minutes because that's what's going on. Should be glaring because that's what's going on.
Fellas, we have a Globe believer in a voice chat. I think it's his first time here. Axel, good morning. Did you bring a Globe proof or you just want to hang out? Axel. No pressure.
Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, just to hang out, nothing serious really.
You didn't bring any Globe proofs, right?
No,
You
no.
have to have something.
Right.
Where are you from? Where are you from, Axo?
Wait, excuse me if you it wasn't clear. What did
I
you
just
say?
wondered where your accent was. It was just I couldn't place the accent, that was all.
Belgian.
Belgium?
Dutch-speaking Belgian.
Oh, okay.
Not too far away from you, I think. You're from England, UK somewhere, I think?
Yeah, basically, you're the closest part of mainland Europe, pretty much.
Yeah,
I was hoping he had some ball proof.
I just rack my brains for what I've done in Belgium, and other than a school trip and getting multiple speeding tickets when driving through Belgium to get to various other places in Europe. And for whatever reason, the Belgians like to give me speeding tickets. And had exceptional motorway food, I also remember. They'd like cook you up a fresh spaghetti bolognese in Belgium on the motorway, which compared to
No way.
Yeah, man, it was wicked. But very, very overzealous policemen.
Oh, they got to meet their
Can
quota,
confirm.
Nathan.
Can confirm.
Hold on, Neil. Say again, Axo.
I've once gotten a ticket for driving the wrong way in a one-way street, but it wasn't by a cop. There was a camera. I didn't know there were cameras for that. So somewhere it flashed me for driving the wrong way. I didn't even know. A month later, I got a bill in my post box. No cops, no nothing, and I was like, yeah, you this street, this moment, bam, 50 euros gone.
That is the perfect example of how strict they are in that country, in your country, which is to say that even when you are unaware, simply driving the wrong way on a one-way street, presumably in the dead of night because you're slightly lost, will get you an automatic fine without there even being a policeman there. The ANPR cameras will scan you and go in the wrong way, give them a fine. You just get it automatically in the post. Now, ours are like that for speeding cameras, but certainly not for that, not driving the wrong way accidentally. You know, don't get me wrong, if a policeman caught
no,
you
Nathan,
here,
we do.
what are you doing?
We do in England.
Well,
yeah,
if
a friend of mine got one in the city in Birmingham for driving on a bus lane.
Yeah, the buses themselves have got the cameras on them.
Right, well, on the letter, it told him the wrong turning that he made, that he turned onto the bus lane.
An out-of-date sat-nav in the middle of Birmingham, yeah, they've ripped it all up and rechanged it all. I was once tooling around with several reps and my German distributor in Germany in a very, very rapid car, and I'm driving around with them giving me directions and following the sat-nav, and at some point the sat-nav goes completely black and there's like what looks like a no entry signal on this sat-nav, and it's just going beep, and I'm going, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, it's no longer giving me directions. So I turn around to the two German reps and my distributor. I'm like, which way do I go? It's not giving me any directions. And they're kind of very calmly looking at each other and going, well, I don't know. And they're calmly discussing it. So I say, well, I'll just pull off here. So I pull off, and then I'm on like a ring road. And I go, I wonder why it did that. And one of the reps calmly turns to me and says, it is because you were going the wrong way on the motorway. I went, oh, did you not think to tell me that while it was going on or when I pulled onto that road? And he says, no. So
that happened to me. The cop told me it's a one-way. I said, yeah, I'm only going one way.
Did he laugh?
The Germans don't
Yeah,
laugh
he
very often.
gave me a nice ticket.
Well, at least he had a smile on his face while he gave it to you.
Particular guys worked for a company that was intentionally renamed. I won't name. I like the company, so I'm not going to name and shame them. But they were a German company, and being a German company wasn't favourable. So they decided that they were going to be Dutch or Danish. So we'll give ourselves a Danish name and make the brand sound Danish and sell how Danish we are and put the Danish words all over the packaging, and you know, it's a good product and people will like it and they'll like the fact that it's Danish rather than German. Like pure marketing.
Before the show starts, could the new guy tell us how we got here, how we found the server and Nathan's show?
Who, Axo?
Hi.
What's up? What's up?
Just asking how you found your way here.
Wait, I'm not understanding. Sorry, my headset isn't really good. What did you say?
How did you find your way into, or what was it that led you to be in this server?
Just a lot of those quote unquote science YouTubers with a lot of take it with a grain of salt. And I saw that there was a lot of debating in this channel, and you are a very avid debater. Always they take the clips with you screaming and stuff out of context, and I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty like a hectic server. So I wanted to see what's up in here.
How'd you know they're out of context?
Yeah, you know the part wait, how do I say this?
I know I
often
like you
escalate,
already.
right?
You've put something negative into the fray, but you've put it in with a positive spin that says, I didn't find this detrimental. Now, you may or may not actually feel that way. I'm not going to quiz you on that, but I just like the way you spun it. I'm already smiling. I already like you. Let's just put it that way.
That's a good point, I guess. Well, I'm going now, so just I have to do some retakes in a couple of days, so I'm gonna have to study some more science.
Fair enough. Well, you're welcome back anytime.
Bye, guys.
Shabba show.
I didn't understand anything he said. Can you reiterate what he was saying?
He said he'd watched some presumably anti-flat earthers and they'd played some clips of me, and then he'd found his way to the server because he wanted to debate the subject. And given the, quote, out of context clips of what takes place in this server, specifically with me, quote, yelling at people, he thought, yeah, that'll be the place to go, according to him.
Oh, okay. Good. I hope he comes back.
With a better headset.
It was all right. I thought he was clear enough.
He doesn't know you like him up until the point where he says something stupid.
Yeah. Or we tell them.
We all say something stupid, Neil.
Yeah, when we point that out and they start getting uppity and talking through us.
It's not saying something stupid. It's not admitting you said something stupid.
Oh, I recognize that voice.
Hey, John.
Nathan's pet.
Here we go. Right, I'm going to press buttons. 5 minutes to showtime.
How you doing, John?
I'm all right. But I'm playing a little bit of hooky this morning. I had a late night.
How's the job?
A lot of hours. Not much sleep.
I'm right with you. I'm back in New York working. I've been doing doubles, triples. Heading back home Saturday, dropping the family off, and then making a U-turn and coming back to New York for a couple of weeks by myself. I got to make it while it's here.
There's a feast or famine in construction in it.
Absolutely. So if I could get, I haven't seen it done yet. I'm using a lot of money. The gas in New York is freaking outrageous. $3.49, $3.59. I'm used to paying $2.84 in Bama.
Yeah, but you're probably making double the pay, aren't you?
I haven't seen anything yet. He's got to start freaking paying me.
If you don't like that gas, don't come to Cali.
Now, how does it go? Usually, if I remember correctly, when you're asked to go to a job site and it's pretty much over an hour out of the way and it's gas and tolls, they got to kick you some money for the gas and tolls.
Yep.
There is no law that says that now. That is something that is like a gentleman's agreement, though. Yes.
Yeah, but my father always did. When my father was running his shop, I mean, if it's work in the city, in the immediate area, once it goes where you're driving your vehicle over an hour, you got to kick up for the gas and tolls.
They do if they have you relocate on their time. If you show up to a job and they send you to another one, then they have to pay the gas and tolls. If they pay your gas and tolls just to get to work, they're doing you a favor.
Yeah, for us,
New
the
York
union
is
does
different
that.
because most of the work is in the immediate area. So when they ask you to go somewhere like upstate or in White Plains, now that's out of the way. That's not public transportation. All right, what about using your vehicle to pick up material and then bring it to the job site?
You have to be paid for that, yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Not
hearing
only
you.
does your time start, not only does your time start, but you're paid gas and tolls.
Come on, Nathan, let's get this show going.
Got
John's
5
here.
minutes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's 5 to.
What the hell are you pushing buttons for?
I've still got to prepare things. I've still got to cue up the intro music, get the slide that starts as the live stream's going out. I've just got things to do, Neil. It's a very busy job.
I'm totally oblivious to what goes on your end.
I also queued up the chat. So in previous streams, I mentioned this before you got here. I don't know if I mentioned it to you or to the audience, I forget. But because of the sweltering heat and humidity, I just don't want to run the projector. So I've got one screen, which means there's all manner of things overlapping one another. But last time I did this, I didn't go to the effort of making sure that the chat could be visible. Whereas today I've just done that so that I can actually click a button and the chat appears. It's a little bit messy. I'll just tidy that up. Anyway, yeah, so I've done that.
I don't understand why you guys don't have AC. Adam explained it to me, but you gotta have AC. What's wrong with you guys?
Well, it's because there's not enough days in the year that it's hot. So, the hotness is limited. But it is swelteringly hot. That's all right. It just means there's like less, maybe 10 days tops of the year that I just have one screen running. Not enough for me to think I'll need to buy a second monitor that isn't a projector. Because for the most part, I'm happy sat with a nice big screen and I can see everything on it. Whatever it is, 8 foot across. And keep an eye on everything. So in this manner, running the stream with one screen is actually that little bit more stressful. It's easier for things to go wrong. Well, I think he'll be okay. I think we'll be all right.
Has anyone heard from 10th Man? I haven't heard from him in a little bit.
Yeah, he's certainly left a few comments in some of the videos that I've put out recently. I keep in touch with him on Skype as well. He's providing full-time care for his wife, so to a certain degree, I'll keep in touch and ask him how he's going and how his health is, him specifically. And for the most part, you do want to kind of leave him alone, because he'll touch base when he's ready to be talked to, because he's limited in terms of the time that he's free. So pestering or hitting him up on the off chance is just going to irritate him, if you know what I mean. So I kind of have to moderate how much I do keep in touch, so I don't pester him when he's doing things. I only know because my effects are in the same scenario.
Afternoon.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on, indeed. I'm running with one screen today. It's swelteringly hot in the UK and has been for the last few days. There we go. There's that screen I wanted. So if the screen transitions are a little bit slow, it's just me having to find the actual place that I want to go. And like last time I went live, we haven't got any computer issues. I've pumped a little bit more voltage into my computer. It's that much closer to setting itself on fire. but no drop frames. Everything's running beautifully. Happy days all round. And yeah, as you probably heard in the intro, please share the show. Good to have you all here. Shall we do a little bit of housekeeping? Anybody averse to us asking one or two housekeeping questions? No?
I thought the housekeeping questions kept house and cleaned house.
They do. And that's what we'll do now. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
What is the sun again?
That sounds like a question for a question. I don't know what the sun is.
I do.
Well, go on then. What is it?
It's a burning ball of plasma.
No, that's what the heliocentric rhetoric would tell you it is based on spectroscopy. But do you accept the rhetoric of stellar spectroscopy when it comes to what the sun is? I don't.
I don't.
Well, then why did you say it?
Well, that's what they teach. I'm thinking if they're teaching it in schools, then, it's got to be true, right?
I don't like the way this chat looks. Okay. Fair enough. Can we cover Bro Sanchez from last night? Jaron was interviewed over the weekend and said we live on a giant Home Depot. Yeah, we can cover that. We're going to be covering a couple of things in the same regard, which is an echo Phoenix Rising 86 of the sentiment of the Discord server, and indeed some of my panel in this respect. And as is typically the case, we're quite reactive when it comes to things of this nature. I did happen to see Bro Sanchez's thumbnail swing on by and didn't tune in. I was too busy, but what did I think I clicked on it for 10 seconds or something just to hear what he was talking about, and it wasn't necessarily related. But I could glean from the thumbnail that Bro Sanchez was basically calling Jaron a shill and saying, look, this is controlled opposition talk, this is. Fighting words which we have echoed also in our pre-show. But yeah, absolutely, yeah, we'll probably cover that Bro Sanchez sentiment at the very least. Thank you very much for the super chat.
So Nathan, just to clarify, so when I view the sun move across the sky, is the claim on the table of a heliocentrist that the sun itself it appears to move, not because it's moving, but because I'm rotating on a sphere?
Right, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this again and again and again until it needs not to be done anymore. Right, what we are dealing with the Antarctic, what's it called? Final experiment, is that right?
I wasn't even referring to that.
Ask me your question again. It sounded like you were.
So when I view the sun appear to move through the sky throughout the day.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah. So I know I just watch the sun move, but according to the heliocentric religion, that's because I'm spinning on a spinning Earth. That's why the sun moves, appears to move.
Yeah, mathematically, they've derived axial rotation from flat Earth measurements and then inferred that in a heliocentric model, your observation when reifying said sphere model would be that the consequence of the sphere model you assume you're standing on turning would be the effect of the star's non-movement, apparent deviation because of your turning. Yeah, I got you.
Well, that's a great one for normies. I like to point out to people, well, if you see the sun appear to move, then welcome to flat Earth. We're not moving. It's the sun that's moving.
Okay. Maybe someone needs to fill me in further, because I don't, as I say, I didn't watch Bro Sanchez, so I don't know other than what Level Earth Observer put out about 2 or 3 hours ago on his channel, where he basically played a clip with Jaron explaining that if we've got lots of flat planes, disco ball Earth basically, it's so big it's flat, and it could just be lots of Home Depots which are flat surfaces leveled and measured across a ball, which is essentially suggesting that planar surveying and a disco ball Earth that's giant would be the answer for why we could measure it flat. So based on that, you go, well, Okay, all you're doing is allowing the antipodal assumption. You know, if we measure Earth flat, we measure Earth flat. It is just that simple. That's our current standpoint and rhetoric, because it's a fact. And the fact that many people on either side of the flat Earth and globe Earth argument might agree or disagree with that is irrelevant when that is literally how it's measured. Now, beyond that measurement, a justification for still being on a globe, which Jaron as a flat earther should certainly not be making, and this is presumably why people are calling him a shill and saying, you know, it's been here 10 years so that he can lead people astray right at the end and tell them that you can measure Earth flat because it's a really big ball. And it's lots of Home Depots on a flat Earth measured on a ball. Well, the only problem with that is that the inference of the sphericity comes from flat Earth angle measurements calculated into sphericity, so you're going to need a flat Earth to measure to make it useful in practical application with navigation and mapping. That's the first problem, beyond this garbage which doesn't have any practical application, which is essentially going down to Antarctica and assuming that you were antipodal when you, quote, go down to Antarctica. Now, but for the fact that we have an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy that's being ignored in terms of how that operates. I'm going to break this down and hopefully it'll be the definitive breakdown of what is occurring with the claim we see a 24-hour sun. The way that an affirming the consequent works when it's being used to dupe somebody, to make them believe that this is sound logic, is to mask the assumption that is claimed to be validated by a secondary observation that may or may not occur. Now, if you're a good magician, you'll know in advance whether or not what you're claiming will occur, will or will not occur. But the point of the fallacy is that whether or not the thing occurs isn't dependent on the thing you're actually trying to prove. So, if I've got an empty patch of Earth that's black, and I say that there's going to be grass growing, and we'll look and see whether or not the grass grows, that will be our Q statement. And what's going to happen in this scenario, it's just going to be what I said. All that's going to occur is the grass will or will not grow. So that's what I'm going to keep your attention on, the whether or not the grass will grow. Okay? So we're going to assess that. I'm going to make it as a statement. I might make it for the positive, it will definitely grow this grass, or I might make it in the negative, it definitely will not grow this grass. Okay? Then when I move on to the next step of the fallacy, all we're going to be looking at is whether or not grass grows. Now, to make the fallacy actually work for the person who's using this to their advantage deceptively, our globe opponents, or Jaron specifically in this example, the way they make the fallacy work to their advantage is to make the claim that you should be looking at of a lower priority when detailing the grass growing. All we're going to focus on is the grass growing. Not what I really want to prove, which is something I haven't even mentioned yet. Remember? But you can pay £20,000 to come and watch this grass grow. And later on in the year, we'll see whether or not the grass grows or not. Because that's the main focus, isn't it? We all clear here that the main focus is grass growing. We all clear? Nobody's answering.
Yes, Nathan.
Yes, Nathan, we're all clear that the main thing here at focus is grass and whether or not it grows. Great. So I've got everyone's attention on the grass growing. Now, I didn't tell you that whether or not the grass grows will actually be proving my assumption that Satan will return after this happens. So let's make the fallacy complete. Satan will return because I will observe the grass to grow. Or I might not, and, you know, Satan might not come back. So the fallacy is as follows. If Satan, then grass growing. Grass growing, therefore Satan. We all clear? The thing that is going to be observed has no link or attachment in any way, shape or form to whether or not there is an existence of a Satan character that's going to come and get you in this fallacy. If P, Satan, then Q, grass growing. The focus is just the grass growing. Whether or not it's going to happen is all that's important here. And when we look at whether or not it's going to happen, don't worry about the consequent. Don't worry about the fact that that means Satan's real. Okay? Now let's repackage it up now. We all understand how the fallacy works. I'll just recap before I do, though. Main focus is going to be the Q statement. Whether or not the grass is growing is all that's important in this fallacy. That's what I'll keep your attention on. And then once we've decided that that's going to be the focus and whether or not that happens is what we'll be assessing, we'll confirm with the grass growing that there is the existence of Satan. Repackage that into, if Earth is a ball, then we will observe 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Let's keep our focus on the second part. Is there a 24-hour sun in Antarctica or not? We'll be seeing if there is or isn't a 24-hour sun. So all we're going to see and confirm is whether or not there's 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Don't worry about the other bit. The if-P statement, let's not concern ourselves. Let's never even mention it, in fact. Let's never formally put this into the fallacy. All we'll focus on is whether or not we'll see 24 hours of sun. And then when we do see 24 hours of sun, we did see 24 hours of sun. Therefore, Satan. I mean globe Earth. Sorry, got it in the wrong order accidentally, on purpose. Yeah, so the one doesn't necessarily follow the other in the fallacy. If P, I assume I'm antipodal on a globe when I go to Antarctica, then the bit we'll actually focus on. Q, there'll be a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And whether or not there is, that's the main focus. So when we see that there definitely is, or isn't, I confirm that Earth is a globe. That's how this fallacy works. Keep your attention on the Q statement and not the P statement. So now to break it down in its absolute entirety. If we assume when we travel with respect to a compass on a flat plane, navigating with maps that are made with the stars on a flat Earth, derived from flat Earth measurements, when we traverse that flat plane towards the horizon, I can and will assume that that journey actually led me to be dangling off the bottom of a ball when I arrived. I'm not going to confirm it in any way. I'm just going to assume that I am now dangling off the bottom of a ball when I get there. Now that I've arrived in Antarctica, I can make my Q statement. Now I'm here, dangling off the bottom of a ball, already assuming the thing I'm supposed to be proving. We'll just assess whether or not there's penguins here. Because if penguins, then antipodal assumption. Have I got that right? Is that what they're assessing, whether or not there's penguins there? Oh no, whether or not there's a 24 hours. It doesn't really matter whether or not the thing they say in the Q statement happens or doesn't. It's not really relevant. They'll keep your focus on it indefinitely. Whether or not there's penguins, whether or not there's a sun, whether or not there's a moon. 24-hour moon in Antarctica, therefore globe Earth antipodal positioning. That's how it works.
Right, but the 24-hour sun would be dependent upon the elevation angle of the sun being above the plane of reference for 24 hours. So yes. If Earth is a globe, then the plane of the sun will stay above the plane of reference for 24 hours. Where do you get that's non sequitur on its face.
The devil's in the details.
This only works to the globe Earth disadvantage unless flat earthers buy into the false dichotomy that's slapped on top. Once you understand how the affirming the consequent fallacy goes, they need to mask it further for anybody who might be bright enough to figure that out. So how do they dupe flat earthers into getting involved to mask the automatic assumption when they mask it in a Q statement in an affirming the consequent? Gets complicated, eh? How this dupe works? Yeah. Cons are complicated. Yeah? Most people aren't stupid, so you've got to get it past them. Well, you'd wrap it up in a false dichotomy fallacy, which is to say only offer two options. Because if one option is the flat Earth, then it's a reasonable comparison. Oh, it's fair because I'm stacking up your flat Earth against me assuming I'm on the bottom of a ball when we go to Antarctica. Therefore, you won't notice that I've got to have a ball as my assumption, haven't I? It's okay for me to assume a ball, because we've got to assume something. You're assuming a flat Earth, so I'll assume a ball. That's fair. No, if you assume a ball, you're assuming the thing you're trying to prove. I'm not assuming anything. I'm just sitting on a boat and travelling out towards the horizon in a southerly direction with respect to a flat map devised from flat angles to the stars. That's what I'll do. Don't have to make any assumption. I know Earth's measured flat when we're going in this direction. But you want to assume that when we go in that direction with respect to a flat plane that we navigate with flat maps, I should assume I'm on the bottom of a ball when I get there. No, I won't do that. But if you mask it in the idea that if I've got a flat Earth model and a globe Earth model, everything's cushiony, then we won't notice that you're begging the question of a globe, the very thing you're trying to prove, by suggesting that if we see a 24-hour sun, which is all you'll confirm, sod all to do with the globe, you're looking for a 24-hour sun, aren't you? But, oh yeah, you assumed you were on a globe, the very thing you were trying to prove, and masked it in and affirming the consequent, and then stacked it up in false dichotomy by saying I'll put a flat Earth model next to my globe assumption. So we're all clear that's how this trick, faulty logic, employed by charlatans works. Now maybe it would be helpful if one of the flat earther components to this element of deception was someone like Jaron, who said, well, it's okay to assume that I'm on the bottom of a disco ball. It's just a series of flat planes like Home Depots, all strung round in a disco ball till we get to the bottom of an Antarctica dangling off the bottom that I'll assume when I go down there, because it's perfectly reasonable to assume I'm dangling off the bottom of a ball when I arrive in Antarctica, having travelled towards the horizon with respect to a plane. No, it's definitely not. But you can justify it to an audience as a flat earther on behalf of the globe if you are a shill called Jaron. And explain why it would be okay to say it's just a really big ball with lots of flat planes on it. No, it isn't. It's just an antipodal assumption needed in this Antarctic garbage. I've now broken it down in the most finite way I possibly can, and I am done.
Assumption as well that there's ice walls and domes and pizza discs in space.
That's another garbage claim that flat earthers are tied into at the Feast of Nonsense when they first arrive here. Was that connected somehow?
Say they do go down there for argument's sake, and they do not observe a 24-hour sun. You're going to have a whole bunch of people believing in pizza pies and domes and ice walls.
Well, the heliocentric model is already a flat plane flying through a sky vacuum at a constant acceleration of 9.8 meters per second per second.
Yeah, that's what they have. The irony of what John has just said is that what they present to flat earthers and say, oh, what a stupid idea, would fall off the edge of your pizza pie in a sky vacuum, as per the Flat Earth Society narrative model that they have depictions of. That is actually the globe model. Mathematically, you measure a flat plane and invent a globe to wrap around it with you measuring from within it. Well, therefore, what they actually describe to mock is literally what their globe model is if you look at it in terms of the maths of what makes it. It's flat Earth angle measurements to the stars, creating a dome around it, and then converting those angle measurements through PZX triangles on a sphere of 3959 radius. That's what is actually occurring. So when you have Einsteinian mechanics having you hurl up with the equivalence principle at 9.8 meters per second, that is a flat Earth floating up through a sky vacuum. The very thing they mock you for when they give it you, the flat earther, at the Feast of Nonsense, to stack up in a false dichotomy, when the people who think they're on the outside edge of that projected PZX triangle, pizza slice, globe burger, when they say we are actually on the outside edge of this mathematical reification, how do we automatically assume they can be down in Antarctica, antipodal? Well, let's stack that automatic assumption that we've already positioned ourselves in this mathematical reification that's derived from those flat Earth measurements we can't get, in false dichotomy with your pizza pie flying up in a sky vacuum, coincidentally tying in nicely with the equivalence principle and Dell and his rhetoric of Earth moving up. These things all tie together. We're surrounded by shells, right? That's what's happening. And they're all revealing themselves 10 years in. Oh, well, we better dump off all these old school flat earthers that have all been gathered into a nice group believing in free energy. We'll just dump them all off and tell them that it's a load of Home Depots on a disco ball. Because we can assume we've got antipodal positioning. Well, no, you can't. You've got to measure Earth flat to get that mathematical reification. Earth is measured flat. Suggesting that Home Depots are measured flat like Earth, but it's okay to not use the bit that we measure and just assume antipodal positioning. Where does the antipodal assumption come from? Oh, derivations of the same angles off a flat plane. So, yeah, you can take that extra step on behalf of the people you're shilling for if you're Jaren, but we'll still be here doing what we're doing. You know, we can only do what we do. Point out how the globe comes to fruition, how it's made from those flat Earth elevation angles, how the latitude system is measured flat and wrapped around a globe. Incapable of measurement if you assume you are actually standing on that reified globe model. So yeah, John, they've got their flat Earth false dichotomy punted out into the feast of nonsense, ready for people to gobble up so that they can swallow and tolerate an automatic assumption of people being on the bottom of a globe. Got a couple of clips to cover today.
They could swap
Second,
one half of the false dichotomy for the other half, and we'll end up with a whole bunch of people still having no clue where they are.
No, not the people who come here. So the people who come here get a couple of educational lessons. First, Earth's measured flat. How is it measured flat? With the elevation angle measurements to things like Polaris that give us the latitude system that creates our maps and models. That grid that we use to navigate is also flat. The areas of equal elevation that are drawn on them throughout the centuries will always be flat, and the angles that you get them from are flat. So Earth's measured flat. There's no doubt about it. There's no need to justify Home Depots being flat and then say that they're wrapped around a ball, because there are no ball measurements to justify that assumption. So we can point that out to people. Earth is actually measured flat. And when you hear a globe Earth apology for why it's okay to measure Earth flat because it's so big, you'll just hear Earth so biggy, it's so flatty, because that's how we put it, because we've heard it so often. But don't worry about the apology. Don't worry about the Earth so biggy. Just hear the reality of Earth is measured flat, because it is. And then go about your way. Just don't debate people if that's all you've come away from this discussion with. Just know it's measured flat. Yes, you've been lied to. No, don't go out of your way to debate people, because you'll just end up dealing with zealotry. On the other hand, if you do want to delve into the endeavour of challenging your fellow globe Earth believer and his Western world rhetoric of ball Earth in a sky vacuum, then you need to know how the ball Earth in a sky vacuum was made, how elevation angle measurements were derived, how circles of equal elevation will find your positional information, how the general mapping system with latitude and longitude comes with circles of elevation to Polaris with 90 degrees below these stars along a flat plane, how the ephemeris was devised with all of these flat Earth angles tracking the motions of the stars throughout the years, how Copernicus and Kepler and Huygens turned these flat Earth angle measurements into a system of a ball by deriving angles into spheres and putting the Earth in motion around the sun mathematically, so that the church could better predict when Easter would be, so that now, 300 years later, you can have numpties in a Western world cult thinking they're standing on that Keplerian mathematical reification of a sphere Earth in a sky vacuum in violation of natural law, where gas doesn't fill sky vacuums. And men stand in sky vacuums looking back at areas of gas not expanding into areas of volume in violations of natural laws. This is the garbage that you need to learn inside out and back to front, to the point where you can summarise it concisely as I just did for my live audience without missing a beat, as he misses a beat. And then you'll be able to debate people. You don't have to reach that level. Now, if on your journeys you find the more popular people who tell you about Ethereum free energy from the replacement sky vacuum, know your gurus and know when they're lying to you with science by getting the second educational step in this particular journey on flat Earth debate discovery, which is science proves things if you have employed the actual methodology of science, cause and effect reasoning based on systematic experimentation, utilizing a phenomena and a causal influencer you have assumed will induce the effect you are studying. That's the scientific method. It requires every element I've just highlighted, and if it doesn't have them, it's not science, it's pseudoscience. And if you learn those lessons, you'll be able to realise where our counterparts, also in flat Earth, are lying to you and deceiving you with claims of science that haven't been through the method. Now, we are, unfortunately for us, threatening to the people who also use the same heliocentric tricks and deceptions of science when they don't have any, to claim things like Ethereum free energy. And we are a threat to that. Subsequently, we will be challenged and demeaned by our flat Earth counterparts because we challenge the grift. the science grift, the grift that doesn't actually have any scientific validity and proof to offer, just the words that are magical, the words that you as a child will learn and taught how it proved things, so that you could go through the rest of your life hearing the word science and knowing something's been proven. Well, our counterparts will use that magic trick to get you excited where you need a replacement for a sky vacuum that's been relinquished when you know NASA have lied to you. That's what we do on Flat Earth Debate. We will continue to do it regardless of how many shills there are around us, telling their audiences that have been told for many years they've got flat Earth evidence, only to mess around with ether. When that audience that hasn't had very much flat Earth evidence actually presented to them are told, well, it could just be a really big ball, end quote David Weiss, or it just could be lots of Home Depots on a ball, end quote Jeranism. When you hear those things, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that just jump ship. All right, it's just a big ball. I'll go back to how I already thought it was before I got to this flat Earth subject. And Jaron told me it was all cushy. Yes, we can measure Earth flat, but only because it's a really big ball that nobody's measuring. We're just measuring it flat, is what we say on Flat Earth Debate. So stick with us. Please share the show. This is the cutting edge of flat Earth information, courtesy of Quantum Eraser, myself, every panel member, and every Discord server member. Share the show.
I would like to point out to measure is to know. So if you're a heliocentrist, you have to know Earth's flat before you can believe it's a sphere.
Did I miss a super chat? I think I might have done. Your activity. Yes, I did. Elvis Kavorvik says, proof it's flat, not a globe. Then take that flat surface and then make it back into a disco ball. Makes sense. Happy birthday, Nathan. Oh, thank you very much for the super chat. And also, he's super chatted me again to say, hey, I super chatted you. Yes, I saw it and now I'm reading it. Thank you very much indeed for the support, guys. Really do appreciate it. Please hit me up on PayPal if you did want to actually give me financial support that I can immediately utilise, clear my overdraft. I just had a birthday. I'm pretty close. I'm not as poor as I was. Thank you if you did support me via PayPal, by the way. I really did have a much less stressful birthday being under the I'm going to fine you a huge amount by the bank for being in an unauthorised overdraft, which I definitely was. So lots of people did actually send me PayPals here and there, and I really did appreciate it. And it meant that I could not have a stressful day on my birthday, or a much less stressful day, let's put it that way. And that led to a whole bunch of videos and productivity, doing what I love, which is producing videos. So check them all out. I went on Omi TV and talked to a load of normies about Flat Earth. Very entertaining that it was. It produced about a dozen videos. There's one left, which is basically the combination of all of them, with the exception of Hazar, or however you say his Hamzar, I think his name was, who chatted with me for about 45 minutes. But other than his discussion, I trimmed together all the other 1 or 2 minute clips and put them into a half an hour, 40-minute video, which is currently members only. But other than that video, I have now released all of those, mainly because of time restraints. I know that if I don't get them out in the limited couple of days off I've had, it shows you what I do, right? I have a couple of days off and I'm like, what can I do? Oh, I really want to make some videos on my days off. So that's what I've done. And they've had the best reception ever. People absolutely love them. So check them out. They're in the short section of my homepage, or check out the video section if you want to see the last 2 or 3 slightly longer form videos, including that interview, if you want to call it that, with Hamzar. Get his name right this time. But yeah, all very, very interesting. And I'll do it again in a couple of weeks' time, probably.
I was interested in those because they asked you if you believed the Earth was flat. And I liked your answer. That was really good.
Yeah, there isn't any belief needed. And I like leaning into that because at most stages, they're justifying their own belief, which at a surface level, they know they've got, because that's what they call it. Everybody seems to know it's a belief. Isn't that interesting? So when we turn around and go, what belief? It's measured flat. Oh, well, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's flat. Well, no, it does. It means it's flat because that's how we measure it, and your globe relies on that. Your belief is the globe that was created with those flat Earth measurements. But in terms of what Earth is, it's measured flat. You know, think of it as a Home Depot that you're measuring flat, but just the Earth. Like a one giant Home Depot, all flat, measured that way, because you'd have to get angles off it with respect to the plane to navigate around on the giant Home Depot that is just basically a giant flat Earth.
Yeah, there's no getting around it. Pun intended.
See, Neil, we only did one housekeeping question and we're already all warmed up nicely.
Brilliant.
Did you all miss me for the couple of days I had off over my birthday?
We miss the show, but not you.
Yes.
Did you? Did you all miss me?
Yeah, Nathan, we all miss you.
Yes, Nathan.
I'm just buying time while I figure out how to share this video. It's that one. One with the whirly whirl on it.
Have you got a review video?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to share it. That's the one. Share. Can you guys see that in G+?
Yes, sir.
Okie dokie, let's put it up on screen then. Okay, which one did I end up on? I ended up on this one. What's it called? Globebusters Live episode 11.15. Vector of Flat Earth is the name of the title that Mush has trimmed this out from. So the clips come from Vlad on 0 degrees, but I will put a link to this. Here we go.
Like, whatever your opinion is about like the definitive nature of it or whatever, the question is just like, would you not want to know if there was a 24-hour sun in the south? And if everyone's answer is not yes, then that's just weird. That's not like the truth-seeking.
Do you want to know if the grass is going to grow or not? Will it grow in that patch? But people should be fascinated with whether or not that grass will grow. No, it's it. Now, I've been highlighting for a significant period of time that you need to focus on the P statement, which is if I assume I'm antipodal on a ball when I get to Antarctica. That bit never gets mentioned. But we must focus on the experiment. It isn't. That is whether or not we'll see the sun. Yeah, because you just keep focusing on that patch of grass. Because if it grows, Satan's real. If we see it, then we're on a ball. That's the only bit that matters. Go ahead.
Right, but the P statement that he's addressing, the 24-hour sun, it can only be in relation to a plane of reference. You're not going to invalidate your plane of reference in this observation. So yeah, I would like to know if there's a 24-hour sun down there. That would be crazy cool. Doesn't change the plane of reference needed for that phenomenon.
Yeah, there's an easy way to think about this. Why do they need to do it in Antarctica? If a 24-hour sun, full stop, proves we're on a globe, why not do it in the north? We definitely know there's one in the north. Well, why not just use that? Think about it for a second. Why wouldn't you do that? Well, because the majority of people wouldn't be assuming that of an antipodal positioning when travelling to the bottom of the ball for Antarctica. The whole trick is to assume that you're on the bottom of the ball when you get to Antarctica to make this observation. As long as you've assumed you're on the bottom of a ball, isn't that what you're trying to prove? No, we're here to see if there's a 24-hour sun. Yeah, but that's all you'll prove, if there is one or isn't one. His statement gets ignored, even by Witsit. So it's very important that we need to know whether or not the grass will grow. I mean, whether or not there's a 24-hour sun. But for the fact you've got an antipodal assumption from your opponent that you seem to be affirming for them there, Witsit, very suspicious. Or he's dumb. He's either not spotted the faulty logic or he's dumb. By not spotted, I should have said. He knows what the faulty logic is and is doing it because he's a shill. Or he's dumb.
Like spirit that got me into flat Earth.
Line.
You know what I'm saying? And
or did he just say that a spirit got him into flat Earth?
his answer is not yes, then that's just weird. That's not like the truth-seeking like spirit that got me into flat Earth.
No, he said that's not the truth-seeking spirit that got me into flat Earth. Truth-seeking about what? The sun? So is it sun Earth? It's flat Earth. Earth's the ground, not the sun. Now we can use the ground to measure the angles to the sun and then prove we're measuring a flat Earth, Witsit. but you're only going to be observing whether or not you see it all day when antipodal on a ball. But we're not going to be antipodal on a ball unless we assume that wits it. Let's just never mention it.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the same with this. It's like, it's become this, it's as opposed to this like truth-seeking group of people, it's become this like cliquey, dramatic, toxic, gay little name-calling.
Is Whitsitt a closet homosexual? He's constantly talking about things being gay. It's not the first time I've heard it. It's at least the third. Otherwise, I wouldn't say it. He likes to refer to things as being gay. It's like I was on that OME TV, and a guy comes on and immediately calls me an expletive. And I laugh, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to be that expletive because I've got 2 kids. I did think about it afterwards and think, well, that doesn't actually mean I'm not a homosexual, which is what he was asking me. But that was what I said on the spot, because to me it was laughable. I'm nearly there, hold on. My point making this example is, I asked him, it's like, well, why would you ask me that? Unless it's on your mind. And he went, yeah, it is on my mind. I'm like, yeah, you're thinking about it because that's probably you when you're a young guy and confused and don't know that you're a homosexual. Well, as a grown adult, you like look at that and go, well, that's kind of quaint. But when someone else like Whitsitt's doing it all the time, you're like, why are you calling this group of men gay? Is it wishful thinking, perhaps? Because after you've said it a few times, you're like, I'm unaware of any homosexual men on this particular panel. Now, not that I've particularly asked anybody if they are, because it's not on my mind. You know what I mean? I don't recall ever saying to anybody on the panel, just out of interest, John, are you a homosexual? I don't think I've ever asked, but there we go. Just a side note. Go on, John.
Are they talking about us? Why would they be calling us gay for pointing out a fallacy?
I didn't infer that. I was saying I've never done that. He's talking about a generalised group, clique people. He's not actually specifically mentioned that it's us. He might be coming up in a minute. I don't know. I haven't listened to this, but I'm just saying, by comparison, I've never asked you, have I, John, are you a homosexual? And if I did, you'd probably think, why are you asking?
Right. It's kind of like, are you hitting on me, dude? Kind of thing.
Do you party? That sort of thing.
I mean, not the entire thing, right? But that's like kind of becoming the cemented type of group. And that's weird, bro. That's weird. It's like, I'm just saying, I know for a fact, if I went and talked to Candace Owens, people would say, I work for the CIA or something. You know, I think that's really weird, but it's all good.
Okay, I know what the hell. If you're going to talk about whether or not it's important to see a 24-hour sun or not, you might mention that there's going to be an antipodal assumption in play before you actually make that affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. Oh, well, how disappointing. Now,
Didn't we cover Candace Owens, though? I think we covered a Candace Owens video once, didn't we?
I think that's what was being hinted at when it was trimmed out and passed on, that there was a suggestion that it was hinting at being us without possibly saying us. Okay, well, there's another one. This is unrelated to Globebusters, but nevertheless, we'll give it a go.
Earthers say that there's a conspiracy to convince people that the Earth is round. They mean that people are actively lying. And we're not just talking about a few people here.
Wrong on 2 fronts. I mean, there is an active deception to try and convince people they're on a globe. It's the heliocentric Western world viewpoint. But people being accused of lying is something we'd be very careful to not accuse them of. Unless they're astronauts claiming to be in a sky vacuum that's a second law of thermodynamics violation, we can definitely say they're liars. But very few others actually fall into that category. You, for example, you may very well believe you're on a spinning ball flying through a sky vacuum and punt that idea as though it's absolutely 100% the case. That doesn't make you a liar, it just makes you wrong.
We are, in fact, talking about millions and millions of people worldwide and throughout history who, despite them believing the contrary, are fully committed to convincing the rest of the world's population that the Earth is round rather than flat.
It's just the default position in the Western world religion. You're bombarded with the idea that you're on a globe, so the chances of you repeating it without even giving it a second thought are high. But you're sort of spinning that in a way that makes it sound like everybody in the world is part of the Borg and all here in a one mind order directive set going in the same direction, lying to people about it being a sphere. No, it's your oversimplification of the situation. Everybody already believes they're on a sphere and therefore will happily repeat that without being a liar.
And remember, that group would have included thousands and thousands of professing Christians who were willing to lie, despite knowing God condemns it. When flat earthers say...
I see. So he's offering up the antithesis and saying, if you believe in this, then you're a bad Christian. I mean, it's reverse psychology of the lowest standard ever, isn't it, really? It's quite pathetic. And it's been done for his own pain relief. Kind of sad. Okay, right, I'm going to stick a few links in the...
He had a nice suit, though.
I didn't notice this suit. I'll have a look in a sec.
I think it's cool. It's
right, so this is the Globebusters video. Where's the share button? Oh, share. There we go. Copy link.
Nathan, you missed. There's 2 more clips.
Oh, there's 2 more.
There's 2 more.
Well, let me do my
about
call to
Globebusters.
action first. So, if you are watching this live, right now in the live stream chat, there is a link going by to... Scroll down. Go. To the Globebusters video that we've just covered. So please, as is always the case, let them know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And as I would say, even for the most obvious of detractors to what we cover on this show, you may like what they have to cover and you may well want to subscribe. So help them in the YouTube algorithm in the same way we would hope to be helped by them if they were to cover us, by putting a link to us if they were to make a response video. So in the same way, I hope to send our meagre audience to Jaren's. So let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, or to Globebusters. Is it under the Globebusters banner? Yes. So let Globebusters know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment. Don't swear, so you don't get your comment immediately removed by them. But just let them know Nathan sent us here to share the YouTube algorithmic love with you. Hopefully you do the same in return. Anyway, there's a couple more. Did you say? Hello?
Yeah, sorry, bro. I can't talk this. There's 2 more clips from Globebusters.
kind of becoming the cemented type of group. And that's weird, bro. That's weird. It's like I'm just saying, I know for a fact, if I went and talked to Candace Owens, people would say, I work for the CIA.
It's the same clip, isn't it?
When flat earthers say that there's a conspiracy...
Did you put more in? Because I think they're the same clips.
Yeah, I gave it to Righteous to post them. There should be 2 more clips.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but dude, I'll tell you this, dude. The vast majority of people I hear waking up to flat Earth right now, like they're all on board electromagnetism and ether, because they just like any intelligent person who does research finds out they hid the ether. The government came in and gave us some like Jewish mysticism, pseudoscience in its place, and then started using ether physics to develop all kinds of crazy technology. It's one of the biggest lies ever told. You find out, oh, it got thrown out because it had to, because of heliocentrism. To remove that from your journey of waking up as a truther or as a flat earther is insane, and it is a minority position, and it can only be explained with ego.
Wow. He's got the good sales pitch for it. Sounds fabulous. Where do I sign?
Because like the vast majority of people that I come across, either they already woke up to the ether, then they found out how it applies.
And appeal to consensus fallacy.
What a lying deceiver.
Well, even if it was true.
I was only going to listen. What a lying deceiver that man is. Yeah? Add on to populist fallacy, yeah, to start with. Most people that flat earthers believe that in the ether is, and they've woken up to the ether. What's that? Is that a new type of alarm clock you've got? What's it? I mean, it's the use of language without actually ever committing to a real statement. Most people have woken up to the ether. He's just a scrote, young man.
You know, there's another version of it, which is even more derogatory, which is when you say, I used to be where you are. Same sort of thing, isn't it?
I used to be there, and if you want to sign up for these additional services where you there's a mild subscription, you can find out why I'm so happy today.
Lies to geocentrism and flat Earth, or the other way around. Like, so yeah, there may be two camps, right? But like, really,
right, like a false dichotomy, like one that automatically gets away with assuming their outcome with antipodal positioning and a flat Earth pizza pie azimuthal equidistant projection. There's only two camps. Like, there's only a false dichotomy. Are these shills? Are these actually shills? He's punting part of the fallacy and softening it for his audience so that the audience will accept it.
Was that interweaving with flat Earth? Because you know the Earth's flat, yeah? He's interweaving that solidity that we've built over many years and hijacking that. And people's affirmation and interest, as soon as they've got that, and that gets them into this genre, and then he's hijacking that. So don't look at flat Earth. Eat this ether. Eat this ether.
there's not. Like, there's not really two camps. Like, it's like 90-10. And we proved that. We proved that when we had. Yeah, but dude, I'll tell you.
Okay. Was there any others?
Another point. I got another one.
Hold on, just one sec. Admin, hold on. Have I missed any other clips, or can I stop sharing this?
There's one more clip that's continuation of whatever he just said right there, but it's not that important.
The debate, and they refused to debate me. Then I did my stream and I exposed all of it, and I broke down atomic physics, atomism and ether, and the people spoke, bro. They're like, why would we not discuss this? Why would, like, what?
Oh, we discussed it, all right.
So weird. It's so weird. This is what made me make content.
I don't get it. So sad.
Oh, dude, it was like the biggest thing. I became obsessed with it. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy, bro, because this is like one of the biggest lies of all of it. And I'm like, yo, dude, like, if you read at these logical field theory people, they had it figured out. If you go read Harvard right now, they're like, we don't know what this is. It's like, well, they did a century ago. So
where have you guys been?
Yeah. I think the difference too is if you think about it, like, I'm open to the to relative density. I'm open to everything. I'm not. While I have my current belief, it doesn't mean that I'm so cemented in it that I'm going to simply look for. I already found the truth. That's the problem. I think the
debate, and they refused to debate me. Then I did my stream, and I.
Oh, no.
That was the end.
He's found the truth. Hey, I'm John, by the way, refracted. He's found the truth, brother. Amen. And for only $4.95 a month, you can have the truth also.
Play it over.
Yeah, play it over again.
To relative density. I'm open to everything. I'm not. While I have my current belief, it doesn't mean that I'm so cemented in it that I'm going to simply look for. I already found the truth. That's the problem. I think the
debate, and they refused to debate me. Then I did my stream, and I exposed all of it, and I broke down atomic physics, atomism and ether, and the people spoke, bro. They're like, why?
So he debated it. Is that what he said? What did he exactly say there?
And they refused to debate me. Then I did my stream, and I exposed all of it, and I broke down atomic physics, atomism and ether, and the people spoke, bro. They're like, why would we not discuss this? Why?
People spoke, bro. And why did we not discuss it? That's all right. We're going to have a little listen to it over the next month or so. We're going to see how the people spoke and how you debated the topic. Yeah? Stay tuned. A lying, surat, double-speaking piece of...
Well, dude, what was the valid point of contention that he brought up, a.k.a. the claim that he's looking to verify? Does he know what a debate is?
He wasn't looking to claim or defend anything. He's looking to, as I know you said it a couple of seconds ago, he's looking to hijack people's interest, I think it was Adam, in flat Earth and tell them all about ether. That's what he's actually doing.
Well, and Jaron with that belief crap ain't helping any either. What you believe, I can change my belief. But if you know something, you shouldn't be believing in something that contradicts what you know. It's that simple.
Yeah, we know it's measured flat. That's it. It's game over. Their globe relies on it.
knowing that to make a globe needs the flat Earth measurements extracting into that sphere, and then justifying that we can measure flat on a sphere which won't ever give you any flat Earth measurements, and then saying it's a disco ball is pathetic. They're either stupid or shills at this point.
You're thinking they're not scammers yet? You still haven't got it?
They're either stupid or
that's the
shills.
distinction I'd make, guys. No, not a shill, Nathan. Somebody who's interested in generating revenue. He's not here to shill against flat Earth. Whether or not Earth's flat doesn't really matter to him if there's a revenue stream. This seems to be the purpose of these guys' behavior. Yeah, it's all about revenue streams. It's not about telling the truth. It doesn't matter, does it? We can pimp ether, all these things that you can get extra revenue streams from. It's about piquing interests for people to spend a little bit of spare cash. Yeah, and trying to generate a revenue stream based off what I said earlier, people's initial interest in flat Earth. And then they get to these guys and they're told, oh, there's a whole new layer of truth on top of flat Earth. Just give us some cash.
Yep. Duh.
I think maybe Whitsitt wants to be the next generation of Scientism priest. And, just in a different made-up religion. One that has ether rather than gravity.
Yes.
The new guru.
Exactly, the latest guru. And for their guru validity, they need science. That's why they don't like us. We expose the magic trick they're using to establish their guru status. That's it.
Which is kind of a bit scummy because they're taking the same trick that got the entire Western world, and they're utilizing it the same way to trick people into the ether shenanigans. I think that's a bit more scummy than the heliocentrists using it.
Yeah, you've gone, wow, look, there's a guy on the beach with 3 cups. And he's scamming everyone around him. And you start crying foul, telling everyone to keep away. Everyone keeps away. You get closer to him. And then you watch and learn how he does his little shell game. And you go, you know what? I can go over to this other part of the beach, tell everybody that the guy down the beach that's doing the shell game is a scammer, and that I've got a fair shell game because I've learned how to do it now. That's all they've done. They've watched other globers, scammed everyone onto being on a globe by saying that science proved it, and now they're doing the same with ether. The exact same scam.
Yep.
So his spirit that got him into it wasn't what he says, it was money. The spirit of filthy lucre.
Well, as the Bible says, Neil, the love of money is the root of all evil.
That's correct. A lot of people think it's money. It's the love of money.
Yeah. Yeah, wanting money and needing money is a necessity in terms of how our structured life works. So you can't really be decried for wanting to keep a roof over your head and bills paid. Speaking of which, hit me up on PayPal if you want to help me out in that regard. It's a bit of a struggle at the moment. But then again, I love what I do, and whenever it is a bit of a struggle, yeah, if you ever want to know I'm struggling, watch me churn out a bazillion videos like I did on my birthday. It's like, oh no, my numbers are going down and I'm earning less money. I know what I can do. I'll pump out an absolute ton of videos. Neil.
Did you lie or deceive anybody in those videos?
What? I've got 2 people talking at once. Neil, then Adam.
No, Neil first.
Did say that.
It's a big difference in what you're doing, Nathan, than what they're doing on the other side. Big difference.
Well, I know that I'm a videographer first and foremost. I'm covering a subject with a hat on as a videographer that is flat Earth. And if I want to earn more money as a videographer, it's like if you're fitting tyres to people's wheels. If you suddenly are cut and strapped for money, you've got to get out and put more wheels or put more tyres on wheels. You know, you've got to get out there and do it more. And that's all I do. I'm like, well, I'll fucking churn out more videos. That'll churn more revenue. And in some of them, I literally suggested that people help me out subtly. And yeah, that's all you can do really as a videographer. But if on the other hand, you're like, I can easily gather up the gullible by replacing their sky vacuum with ether. And if I just tell them I've got science, I already know they'll be receptive. They were duped onto being on a ball with it. Well, then I'll have a whole load of people that really are satisfied with what they've been given as a replacement for their former globe belief. And if in the case of Jaren, suddenly your Home Depot's on a disco ball, you won't necessarily know that you've lost anything because you weren't ever confirming that Earth was measured flat. And when it was subtly hinted at that, well, if you've heard on other platforms that Earth is measured flat, don't worry, it's just a load of Home Depots on a disco ball. I mean, shout out to Bro Sanchez for exposing this. They're basically saying Earth's so big, it's flat. That's what they're doing. We measure Earth flat, but it's okay because I can assume those flat Earth measurements that were mathematically turned into a ball mean we are standing on a ball that I assume is antipodal with a load of disco strips on it. And Dave Weiss is quoted. It might just be a really big ball.
Right. It's like saying, look at these particle distributions. They prove that it's a wave.
Kind of. That might be over the head of some of the audience, but that's fine.
Told you we're all alone here.
If anybody's wondering, when they talk about the wave of light that is the ether, or however they say it, they're always referring to the diffraction patterns and how they're classified.
If you're wondering what a diffraction pattern is, it's the lines that you would see if you shine light through a slit and vary the focal length of the slit until you get this pattern, which is single slit diffraction. Now you can derive a mathematical construct that gives you all of the different descriptions mathematically of the different types of light, right? They're waveforms, or what do they call them? Wavelengths, that's it. Well, all of those are derived from, in the first instance, the pattern that you get when you get light diffraction. Well, what is light diffraction? Well, you can describe it in a way that breaks, fundamentally in a physical way, breaks the idea of it being a wave. If you take, and I've learned this from Quantum Eraser, fortunately it's on the panel in case I make any mistakes or incorrectly name the tools, something I believe is called an argon pump laser. And this tool gives you the ability to fire one particle at a time through something like a slit. Now, when you do
doesn't have to be an argon pump laser.
Say again.
It doesn't have to be an argon pump laser. It just depends on what type of light you're trying to get the wavelength from.
Oh, okay, let's rephrase it. For the longest time ever, you can click below this live stream and go and watch a demonstration of one of the principles in quantum mechanics being done experimentally. And in that particular example that does have an example of light diffraction being shown on the screen, they use an argon pump laser, correct?
Yes, but that's not diffraction grading.
No, they do have diffraction grading in it. They're showing the wave function. Do they only show it collapsed? Do they not actually ever show the diffraction pattern in that video?
I can't remember.
Light
It's not a
varies the lead.
It doesn't matter.
It's not a diffraction. It's not a diffraction grading. It's only a double slit. Diffraction grading is thousands of slits.
Fine. My example was going to be about something else, but I'll carry on as though that didn't happen. You are correct, and I'd rather you were pedantic about this stuff because I'm a novice. Obviously, I only know what I know from you. So yeah, I still need to know it, and I still need to hear it. Nevertheless, my point was going to be that regardless of what the tool you use to fire an individual photon, or let's just call it a packet, one packet of light can be fired out of this device, go through a slit, and then hit at a given point on the other side of the slit. So you've got light, slit, and then whiteboard, let's just say. Yeah? Well, when this process occurs, what you're doing is building up lots and lots and lots of lines on the wall. So if you were to fire one particle through the slit and it hits on the wall at, let's give it 5 locations that it can hit. So the point marked number 3 is in the center, directly behind the slit, and then 1 and 2 are to the left of that, and 3 and 4 and 5 are to the right of it. Yeah, so it can hit at one of those 5 locations after it goes through the slit. But if you fire 1, it goes through the slit and it happens to hit right in the middle, point 3. You fire the next one and it goes through the slit and hits at point 1. And then you fire the next one and it hits at point 4, and then you fire the next one, it hits at point 2, and then you fire the next one, it hits at point 3 again, and then you fire the next one, it hits at point 5, and so it continues. One particle at a time eventually builds up this pattern of bars on the wall, these 5 lines. Yeah, and they represent the individual points that potentially the light could hit after going through the slit. Yeah, so it's a pattern of interference, a diffraction pattern they call it. Well, that diffraction pattern is a probability that can be mathematically quantified on a graph in something called a wave function or probability distribution. At what point is it likely to hit at point 1? How likely is it to hit at point 2? How likely is it to hit at point 3? And that will produce in the graph something that looks like a wave, otherwise known as a wave function. The probability distribution creates a graph that makes it look like a wave, and it's called a wave function. Now, given that you're shooting one particle at a time through the slit, does that make the particle you fired through the slit a wave? No. Does it mean that if you fire one individual particle enough times, you can build up a pattern that you can derive a mathematical function called a wave from? Yes, it does. So we're all clear. Light being described as a wave comes from this mathematical derivation, but if you, there's the coup de grace, the point I'm getting to, the main crescendo of this, if you only fired one particle through the slit and it hits at point 3, do you even have enough information to derive a wave function mathematically? The answer is no. You only have one point on your chart, on your graph. So you can't derive a wave from the one marker in this probability distribution. Ergo, you've got one particle of light, it's still travelled through the slit. That was a bad phraseology, we'll just brush past that. It hit at point 3, and there it is. Light has reached a point on this backplate, this whiteboard, and you can see that that is light, but you cannot in any way, shape or form describe that single impact as a wave, because you don't have the data to create that mathematical extrapolation that is the description of light as a wave when it's a wave function in the maths. Light is not a wave. That's a bastardization and a misunderstanding of the mathematical derivation of probability distribution, otherwise known as wave function. Did I miss anything, Adam or QE? Go ahead.
Delete
I
a little
wasn't
bit.
paying any attention, man. You're a bit out over your skis, but that's all right. No, just
a bit out over your skis. That's one way of saying that was a crap explanation, took too long and wasn't that accurate. Thank you, QE.
You're welcome.
And the wave pattern, the diffraction pattern is the phenomenon. You're given a description of the phenomenon, not the light itself, too. So keep that in mind when they start talking about the wave. It's nonsensical on its face.
Yeah, the phenomena of diffraction isn't what we typically experience. It's something that's out of the ordinary, otherwise known as a phenomena. Something's happening. Oh, why is it doing that? As in, why is it splitting up into these bars? That's the phenomena. But describing the phenomena as a wave function is where we get this crazy idea that light is actually a wave. That was the main point, right, QE? Was that clear enough for the audience's benefit to not have to reiterate it again?
It doesn't just apply to light either.
One more time, Endless.
It doesn't just apply to light. You're kind of burying the lead. They've done this same thing with molecules that are made up of like 2,000 atoms. So just focusing on light kind of feeds into the ethers thing. If you can expand it
gotcha.
out.
If I keep it narrow, I help them. I see.
A little bit.
Yeah. No, I can see that.
Yeah, everything's a discrete. Is made up of discrete points that we call atoms. That's just how things are. If you don't like it, that's what we base our understanding of the crystalline diode structures of television, of electronics, everything is based off that understanding.
Sure.
Why are you using the internet to communicate?
Because of quantum mechanics.
To try and get the etherites to
because of the
claim
validity
that,
offered
that
in science via
have,
quantum mechanics, to answer your question.
Sorry?
I didn't hear either one of you.
Well, to answer your question, John, the reason we're talking on the internet is because we have the ability to use microprocessors as a direct result of quantum mechanics.
Got hit with valves, wouldn't we?
One more time.
We would have got here with valves, surely.
We would have got here with
Don't need the
valves.
transistor.
No, we need
Eventually.
transistors. I don't think we'd have got the valves that small ever.
Oh, they'd just be very big computers. It'd be great. Very steampunk.
I did see someone basically make a computer in Minecraft. As in, they made a functional computer within the game itself.
They've made increasingly complicated CPUs. They made someone made a GPU inside Minecraft, so they can actually render Minecraft inside Minecraft.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah, very clever. Using redstone as semiconductors, basically. I think that's correct. I don't know my Minecraft terminology. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure.
Anyway, like the interconnects.
Anyway, this science proves we need to round out, because I'm going to round out this live stream soon with a conclusion in regards to Globusters, as that's specifically what we've been covering for the majority of the show.
They're scammers.
Scammers?
They're scammers. Yeah, it's already been demonstrated. The Mountain Brew horse shit. And you got the incoherent Joseph Goebbels, the double-speaking lion Surrat, Boy Zero Sky Grifter, that in one statement, his mantra, falsification is independent of replacement, and the very next breath says he's an alternative cosmologist. That's just one of literally high hundreds of double speak. Just wait. We're gonna take a little trip back into history. There, shits it. See where it all stands. Thanks.
Well, with Witsit, it's like everything he says or everything that he thinks is intelligent is just self-contradictory on its face. Like when he thought the Kashmir effect proved the ether, and that virtual, it's like, but then he denied the virtual photons that were required to assert the Kashmir effect.
Yeah,
it's like, what are you doing?
Didn't he use a particle accelerator to debunk particles?
Yep, denied particles and then invokes a Van de Graaff generator. It's a particle accelerator. Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah.
On topic indictment anymore?
There's one thing that
it's not
stated. There was one thing that was stated that was, I thought, profound, but it was glossed over. And John stated it earlier. He said, "You must measure the Earth flat to believe in a globe." I thought that was quite profound.
Yeah, I've been saying it for 7 months.
But he consolidated it very concisely.
Oh,
you
okay.
must
But he said
measure.
it in a different way.
Man, now I know how you guys feel. Brian will be saying something over and over again for about 10 months, and then I'll paraphrase it slightly, and we'll go, "That was wonderful, Nathan. The way you said that was so concise." Brian will be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa." You must measure Earth flat to believe in a globe. That is absolutely correct. Right, what was that? Somebody said that's not quite right from Discord.
That was me.
Go on, what was it that you were going to say, Adam?
So it's within the Michelson-Morley that will show that there's ether, and within that they can disprove the fact that there's a photon by using a photon emitter, and I think it's photons according to Whitsitt. This is a year ago that we laughed at that one, but that's how I don't understand it. You need a photon emitter and a photon detector to disprove photons.
Yes, that's another one. There's many hundreds.
Was there anything else from Discord?
I think it would be funny to try and get them to talk about the wave-particle duality of molecules as they go through the double slit experiment.
No, it's not an experiment according to Whitsitt. There's a man-made device in it.
Oh, God.
Well, you could say that there is a charge or electrostatic force, but particles don't exist.
When you use small molecules, you're not really doing an experiment. You just replicate it in and of itself. But the fact that you've got the interest in small molecules doesn't necessarily prove anything. It just shows that the effect, the observed phenomena, is replicable even with small molecules, never mind photons.
Any more for any more? No?
Those are just ones I pulled off the top of my head, the contradictions that he's made. Them are just off the top of my head, so you know there's 100 more.
I'm sure we'll go through.
More than that.
I'm sure we'll go through a whole bunch of them in the after show. But with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. There we go. Takes me that little bit of extra time with the one screen. Good show. We're in politics
That was a good show.
tomorrow, in case anybody was unaware.
Ugh. Yeah, it was a good show.
Oh, thank you, Vic.
The past like 2 weeks they've been really good. I mean, not that they're not usually good anyway, but August has been entertaining.
I wholeheartedly agree. I tend to know they're a good show if I want to watch them back over again. As in, you know, you're keen to get back into the live show and listen to it.
Yeah. And those little shorts you're doing where you're popping in with like just random people on chats, oh, those are doing pretty good. They're getting pretty good views too, and they're funny because it's people without like any preconceived notions or people that want to start arguing right away. They have no idea what you're even saying at first, so it's like new to them. So it's kind of cool to see a natural reaction instead of just listening to anti-flat earthers all day.
Yeah, and I'm far more content not you know, bracing myself against somebody who wants to rinse and repeat the same thing 15 times. You know, the people who come here hate us.
That was particularly good.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed it. That was my little birthday treat to myself. Doing that, you know, I'm just going to do whatever I want. And the show had kind of buggered up because the computer had thrown a wobbler. They were like, well, I'll just try this because if it goes wrong, who cares? You got to hear chocolate in the background for some of them. So I haven't.
Yeah, but August,
George, sorry.
August has been lots of fun on the after show, if you know what I mean. When there is no recordings, it's been lots of fun as well.
Oh, go on. Why? What's been happening on the after show?
Oh well, the same thing
That's when
that
all the
we
mice
covered
start
recently. You know, EMBO and other guys coming in. Same old, same old.
EMBO spazzing out right now in the chats, talking about how he measures Earth flat and then assumes it's curved.
That's correct. He does.
I'm actually talking about the opposite. I was asking, why do you measure a deep angle if the horizon is already horizontal? And why would you assume the Earth is flat if the deep angle exists?
You measure
Dip angle with the Merriman section, dude.
It's called deep angle. Has the word angle in it. It requires a flat plane for that deep angle correction.
Okay, so angle requires two straight lines, right? So what are the two straight lines composing the deep angle?
Equivalent surface level.
We don't need to go there yet, do we? Because somebody's just made a claim using the horizon. So let's just define what the horizon is before we apply it to anything. What is it? What qualities? The horizon. Does it have a rate of change of slope that will be commensurate with a sphere edge?
No.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Defining horizon for me is no problem. I'm just giving the definition from a Merriam-Webster dictionary. It's the great circle on the celestial sphere formed by the intersection of the celestial sphere with a plane tangent to the Earth's surface at an observer's position. This is the definition of the horizon in astronomy. And celestial navigation uses astronomy in practice.
In that definition, is the horizon horizontal?
Yes, it is.
Well, it can't be if it's commensurate with a ball, can it?
Well, it can, because on the ball you have different types of the horizons. And the reason why you have these different types is the exact fact that the horizon, the one that you directly observe, isn't horizontal. So the horizon, when you have the word horizon...
It isn't a horizon. This is the point, isn't it? So it's not the horizon then?
Yeah, it's not the horizon if you define the horizon as the thing that we see directly. That's why in astronomy the word horizon refers to an imaginary plane that you see if you project your line of sight 90 degrees from the vertical.
I just want a bit of clarity on that. So it's not the horizon if it's the thing that we see that is horizontal.
Which horizon I'm talking about, right? The one that we see directly physically?
The only one.
There's only one.
The one we see, which is horizontal.
Okay, so this horizon isn't horizontal.
Then? Yeah, so just we accept that. Do you accept that the horizon is horizontal?
The one you're talking about isn't horizontal. It isn't.
Can we just stop this? You've done it
So
twice.
by definition,
Hold on,
it
just one
can't
sec.
be a horizon.
Stop, because I don't want this to turn into 10 repetitions. Right, you've just had 3 people barking at you, and you've rinsed it and repeated it. We're only dealing with one horizon. There is only one horizon. Now, I know you've already told us, well, for me, there's several. Yeah, we know, Fundy, but you don't need to keep inserting your horizon for Adam. There is only one. Let's just get that clear. We're all talking about the same thing. It's this point in the distance where the sky appears to meet the ground. There's only one. Okay? Carry on, Adam.
it's for the gentleman to respond. So, in your viewpoint, then, when you look at the horizon, what is that commensurate with? Does it have anything to do with your sphere belief, or is it, as defined, a horizontal horizon?
The connection of the horizon to my sphere belief is the fact that I don't see any reason on a flat Earth why the horizon you observe would be below your local horizontal.
No, that's non sequitur. You can't say the connection to the horizon on the sphere is I don't think in a flat Earth. What is the connection between the horizon and your? What does it signify on a ball Earth, that horizon that is horizontal?
It signifies that there is a drop, and the only explanation for the drop is the ball.
No. So is it the leading edge of a ball?
It is a tangent of your line of sight to the surface of the ball.
Okay, so that tangent of my eye wouldn't, if I extrapolated it out across my field of view, form a horizon, would it? Because it wouldn't be horizontal. It would be commensurate, a rate of change of slope commensurate to R, wouldn't it? But we know that a horizon has got a rate of change of slope of 0, don't we?
It wouldn't be horizontal. It would be below your horizontal.
Hold on.
No.
Hold on. He's just changed his
Below
position.
eye
Hold on.
level, things can still
Hold on,
be
Adam.
horizontal,
He's
can't
changed
they?
his position. He's now saying that the horizon isn't horizontal. He's changed his position now.
No, that's why first you mentioned that there are different types of the horizon. You don't accept that.
No,
that's why
No, we didn't mention that.
So glad I interjected. So everyone stop.
Stop.
That's why I interjected earlier, so it was nice and clear for the audience. So back to rinse it. So third try, right? Why are you doing this?
Because the phenomenon of the drop of the horizon from your local horizontal is something that isn't explainable on a flat Earth.
You can only have horizontal, local, or otherwise on a flat Earth. So to say I can't have a flat Earth on a flat Earth is nonsensical and stupid. Diego. Right on cue. Is it going to be? This is my Discord error.
You absolutely can.
So this is third time.
There's only one horizon. EMBO. Get it?
Let me deal with that first, because he keeps rinsing and repeating it.
All of the textbooks on navigation that explain the deep correction would disagree with you on that.
We're not talking about the dip correction, and it isn't a case to disagree and agree. There is only one horizon, EMBO.
But the deep correction is defined using different types of horizon. This is the only reason why the deep correction is defined.
He's not having it. Hold on. He's not having it.
We're not at the dip correction.
I don't want to do it 10 times. I'm really sorry to rumpus it on you, QE. Okay. He wants to stick with dip correction, and that's what he came in with. Fine. He's not having it. He wants multiple horizons. He's done it 3 times. Fine. Let's just leave it at that. There is only one. He's saying, well, with my multiple horizons, the multiple horizons won't work on a flat Earth because they won't match the local horizontal plane. No, we'd need a local horizontal plane, and you haven't got one on a globe. That's the end of that. Non sequitur, doesn't answer our question, doesn't answer your contradiction, uses multiple horizons. But now we've got back to the dip correction for him. Okay? Take us through it. Explain what you do. You get out your car. Shout out to QE. At the port, you get onto boat. What do you do? If you're going to be the mariner that's responsible for navigating, and you want the dip correction process to begin, what's the first thing you do?
You know the height of your ship. Then you open the almanac. You read the table.
Hold on.
Which
Stop. How did you know the height of the ship? Height. What kind of height are you talking about? Elevation of the ship.
Yeah, it's because it's probably like in the specifications of the ship.
Wait, say again. Sorry, you got an oh dear colour commentary through the top of you.
Yeah, I'm saying that you know the height of the ship because it's probably in the specifications of the ship.
What's the height of the ship? That's elevation, correct?
No, dude. No, let's just take this boy. You're at port. You know what ship you're on because you've been sailing it, but they've just loaded it up with all the stuff for you to take on your return journey. So you don't know the height of the ship, do you? You're going to have to ascertain the height of the ship based on your loading. Now, what will that height be described with reference to?
To the sea level.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Just a second. You rapist.
And in his previous claim about the dip correction, he was saying that the eye level, the horizontal plane of your eye level, is higher than the horizon. Just so we can all giggle a minute about that.
Yeah. If you don't believe that, then what are the two lines that compose
Sorry,
the
you didn't
deep angle
acknowledge
according to?
what we put to you. Do you want me to slow right down for you, EMBO? Slow it right down. So you're going to measure your elevation with respect to a flat Earth then. Height above sea curve. Is it how high the boat is out from sea curve, right? Or is it how high up, perpendicular to horizontal, you are with respect to that horizontal you called sea level? So it's the how much up only describable if you're describing it perpendicular to a plane, and how much above that plane, specifically sea level, you are. Yeah, we put all that to you. This is the second time. And then we welcomed you to Flat Earth. That is a flat Earth measurement, isn't it, EMBO?
It isn't, because the actual models modeling sea level in practice are models of ellipsoid, not of a flat plane.
Sorry, are we measuring a model?
How can a model be in practice when you can't do that?
Sorry, I just dealt with that non sequitur. So when you get on the boat, you're measuring a model, are you? No. So that was a non sequitur, EMBO. We'll just try it a third time because you seem to have given us a non sequitur response, like when you get out your tape measure on the boat, the plimsoll line's lowered because you're loaded with cargo. Suddenly you need to know how high you are for the dip correction. What are you going to measure it with respect to? Third time's a charm. It's elevation. I've got plenty of NASA citations that describe very specifically how elevation is with respect to a plane of reference. And in this case, the plane of reference is sea level, a plane. So you can have an elevation described with respect to it. So welcome to Flat Earth. You'll need a flat Earth for your height above sea level because it's not how out you are from sea curve.
But what you said, that the sea level is a plane, is just a baseless assertion. You don't have any sources for that, because none of the sources would claim that, because it's false.
Right, you're doing an angle correction to it.
You can do an angle correction.
Is that a yes?
To something that isn't
Is that a
plane.
yes? Yes, you're doing an angle correction to the plane of reference known as sea level, and you're telling me it's a baseless assertion. No, it isn't. It's an angle correction, straight line to the surface level you're correcting to. You're measuring your height above it. Surface level, sea level. Elevation is described with respect to it. It's the fourth time we've put it to him.
Right, but he also made that clear with his prior statement about eye level being the horizontal plane and the horizon is below that. So he has to understand it at some level. That level is a horizontal plane.
Well, to ascertain your eye level if you're at sea, John.
They are completely separate concepts.
You can't be that dumb.
Level just means an equal elevation above the reference. And horizontal planes means that when you have your local vertical, you have 90 degrees to this local vertical.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Again.
Welcome to Flat Earth. You'll need a flat Earth for that.
Can't get a 90 degree angle off a curved baseline, sunshine.
You need a flat Earth to measure this, EMBO.
Flat Earth elevation angle, yeah, that I've got a level, that eye level. What am I going to use to level my device?
The horizon. That's why we're measuring this dip correction, to make sure that we still acquire a horizontal plane of reference when we measure it.
You don't
eye
use the
level is
horizon
what,
to
then?
level any instrument.
Eye level is
you
what?
use a spirit level, for example.
Eye
And
level
when
is
you
what,
level
Adam?
an instrument with a spirit
He's
level
decided
and
to
look
subvert
through
the discussion by talking through us. We're discussing it over the top of you. We welcomed you to Flat Earth. You didn't respond. Did you think that yammering through us discussing after the fact? You've been welcomed to Flat Earth, and the reason you've been welcomed to Flat Earth has been put to you 4 times. Now, you can't acknowledge it, EMBO. My respect for you is now 0. You're just a little worm. I don't want you chanting through me. Adam's asking me what eye level would be. Oh, it would be parallel with surface level, Adam.
And you'd ascertain that using the horizon. Yeah?
Yes.
Because only a Muppet would take as you just suggested, sir, a spirit level on a boat that's rocking constantly. Wouldn't be much use to you, would it?
No, it was a zealot non sequitur from a worm that's had his defeat put to him 4 times and has decided to chant and squirm his way through his defeat. So EMBO, 5th time. The dip correction, your point you raised, is a correction to the surface level. That's sea level. That's what you're correcting to. That was the last point you obfuscated. Welcome to Flat Earth. You will be measuring and correcting to and referencing horizontal planes with every single one of these examples with dip correction. There is no example that will defy that is curving because it's straight line angle corrections to surface level, sea level. Earth is flat, EMBO. Welcome to Flat Earth. Perfect.
Does he use tape or super glue to attach a spirit level to his mariner sextant?
What you do
No, you
with a
don't.
spirit level if you were on an aeroplane?
You don't level a mariner sextant.
No one was asking you anything, Worm. You had sorry, is it just you need a 7th? Sorry, we corrected to surface level, sea level. Welcome to Flat Earth, EMBO. Maybe another protracted silence, and then if no one notices that you haven't acknowledged it for a 7th time, you can waffle on about Earth being a sphere without acknowledging that you need Earth to be flat as a prerequisite for your dip correction example that corrects this straight line to a flat surface. And you do it with a parallel eye level and surface level. That's been explained to you 7 times. Maybe another protracted silence, nobody say anything. Let's see if EMBO acknowledges it. 7 times. No? Is it only when you can insert a non sequitur globe claim into the top of someone else's discussion after your defeat 7 times, EMBO? You're a weasel, a worm, a pathetic globe zealot. That protracted silence was you not acknowledging it for a 7th time. That was my invitation for you to be a man. Acknowledging your defeat, acknowledging where you require Earth be measured flat. Why is it that you've got plenty to say when it's not an acknowledgement of that which you have now had 8 times?
The only thing I acknowledge is that claims are not evidence. Proof is evidence. You don't have any proof that sea level is flat. You've only claimed that. You don't have any physical measurement demonstrating that.
I wasn't using it. You're the one who brought up dip correction. You're the one who's correcting to surface level, sea level. Are you saying the thing that you need to correct to... Now you're rumpusing me. You're off mute, still wide open, yeah. You're the one who brought it up. You're the one who's had it detailed, and no acknowledgement has come our way when you needed to correct to surface level in your argument. Now you're telling me it's a baseless assertion. You're the one who brought up this correction. So you're now suggesting that your corrections to surface level, sea level, for dip correction, but your inference that sphericity is in any way, shape or form being measured when it isn't, is my baseless assertion of flatness. You're the one using it. You're the one correcting to it. You're the one with straight lines and flat surface levels. You're the one with eye level parallel with it. These are all prerequisite requirements and how it is done. There is no, I'm assuming something. That's how it's done, to surface level. If it isn't, as in, what, it's just my assumption. No, it's your claim.
But in your claim, if it isn't, it won't be an angle and it won't be a straight line and it won't be a correction anymore. If it's curving, like ball-shaped, it wouldn't physically function anymore. That's why you were welcome to Flat Earth. That's me reiterating it a 9th time, by the way.
The deep correction was my claim, but then you had a counter-claim, which was that sea level in some way debunks. I haven't even mentioned the sea level. This was something that you brought up. And for sea level to debunk my claim, it would have to be inconsistent with the globe, so it would have to be flat. That's why you have to provide evidence that sea level is flat in order to actually back up your counterclaim.
Okay, define level.
Having no part higher or lower than another. It needs to be
Yes,
that
I agree with that
specific
definition.
Euclidean axiom or the globe mathematics that very specifically has eye level and surface level parallel with one another wouldn't work. Now, given that I can example specific examples where this Euclidean principle holds true in globe Earth mathematics, that would be the very claim we've now put to him 10 times. In Earth curve mathematics, surface level, that's the thing you're correcting to for dip, and eye level, the thing you're correcting from with dip, are parallel with one another. That is no part higher or lower than the other. Welcome to Flat Earth. 10 times.
From
So
Cambridge,
when you say that it's not,
he said,
when you say that it's not higher or
We're
lower,
defining it.
then what?
Did you think we needed to hear your voice as we read out some definitions?
No, I'm just
Well, then shut up.
trying to ask a
You're
question.
not acknowledging your
Why?
defeat. You're a squirmy little worm while we're reading out the definitions. I have to prove that sea level is level, says you. Go ahead,
No,
QE.
I'm just.
You're just squirming through the top of a definition being read. Shut up.
The definition was already read like half of a minute ago, and you're a retard. You cannot grasp people who are not
I'm a
speaking.
retard, am I, MBO? Share your pain. Nah, you were correcting to sea level, and now you're telling me I must justify how level is. That's what you're doing. Now QE's reading something out, and you're saying, no, we must accept my definition of tangency to spheres for level. We heard it. Go ahead, QE.
yeah, he said level wasn't flat. From Cambridge Dictionary, level, not rising or falling or higher on one side, but even in all directions, horizontal or flat.
Sorry, stop. So if we were to talk about sea level, it would be horizontal, flat, and the thing that you're correcting an angle to by prerequisite. So I don't need to prove that sea level is flat. It's level for the correction in his example. Welcome to Flat Earth. It's 11 times. Your attempt to make me justify how level is has failed, EMBO. You've been welcome to Flat Earth 11 times and been called a weasel. Pathetic. Like, not really a
Like
man.
last week. No, we did this last week. Remember? I told you he'd respawn.
That this is a protracted silence where you could be acknowledging that you're not a man and can't concede. It just challenges your globe zealotry too much, so therefore protracted silence followed by rumpusing, where you tell me I should have accepted the definition that is contradicting itself. Tangency to a ball, Adam pointed out, and you didn't acknowledge him either, that it doesn't comport with the definition, it's self-contradicting. You didn't acknowledge Adam either, and then you just decided that I'm a retard because I haven't accepted your zealotry, that we actually contradicted and Adam put a rebuttal to you. You didn't acknowledge it, though. Call me a retard again, go ahead.
Also gave a bogus definition for the horizon. That's not the definition for the horizon there, sunshine.
So, meanwhile, I'll just do it for a 12th time. I've got no issue. Could do this all day. Right, can we?
Yes. Ipso facto.
Ipso facto, I could do this all day. EMBO, you've been welcome to Flat Earth, and we've had 11 protracted silences.
He's waiting for you to talk, Nathan, so he can talk through you.
No.
Make
No,
that
I'm
12.
not. I was just searching for. I was just searching for resources, and I just found So I posted the definition of level, and obviously one word can have
No,
different
sea level.
definitions. Then you would simply
No. We're correcting to sea level, and you charged me with proving that sea level was level. Okay? So we're correcting to it. So this example better be comporting with an idea that we're correcting an angle to a curve. I mean, that's batshit insane, but will never work, ever. We're never going to correct to curvature when it's a dip angle correction. That's nonsense. Now, we've overcome every aspect of your challenge 12 times.
Okay, so according to this definition, level is having no part higher than another, conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of the Earth's surface. And the other definition is parallel with the plane of the horizon.
Stop. So we're going to correct this angle to curve, correct?
No, you're going to correct it to your line, to the tangency point of your line of sight to the surface.
No, we can't be correcting it to a tangency point. We're correcting it to something that comports with sphericity, according to that definition. Like I said earlier, self-contradicting. Because if you're going to correct an angle to a curve, i.e. correct this dip correction to the curved surface of sea level, I think I covered this too. We're not correcting out from sea curve, we're correcting down from our height above sea level, with eye level parallel with it. You're saying, because of this definition, no, this angle correction is actually an angle curve correction. Am I correct? Does this dip correction involve curving the straight line at any point?
No.
Tangent is a straight line, so what you're actually doing is correcting it to the surface level straight. Just let's get a yes. We are doing that, correct?
No, you're.
So we're not. So we are correcting it to curve then. So we're not correcting down to the surface level straight. Angle correction, straight lines. We're correcting the straight line angle correction to curve, aren't we? Because it's comporting with a sphere.
You're correcting it not down, you're correcting it up to the horizontal plane.
Sorry, it's curving though, isn't it? In the correction, we curve it because this is a correction to the outside edge of a sphere according to your recent citation that's contradictory. We're doing an angle correction, and when we correct it, at the end of the process, it'll be a curve angle, won't it? To comport with the sphere. That's what we're doing in this correction. I've already got you to say no. We aren't. We're correcting to surface level, and it's a straight line correction to surface level straight. Now, according to your last citation, this correction curves this angle, doesn't it?
It does. Your line of sight to the horizon is a straight line, but it is also a tangent. A tangent is a straight line that touches a curve at one point.
Tangency isn't comporting to the outside edge of a sphere. Your last citation suggested that level comported to sphericity, didn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Right, well, if level comports to sphericity, yes. Thank you. So if level comports to sphericity, yeah, I got you to confirm, I'm leading you, then that would mean that this dip angle correction corrects to curve. Comporting with sphericity is curvature, so therefore dip angle is a dip curve. Correction? Yes?
No.
No.
Okay, your line to the horizon is straight.
No. No, I'm still leading you. It's not going to be chant through it to make it less painful. We're not correcting to curve, we're correcting to surface level. But you challenged me to prove that we wouldn't be correcting to surface level and that wouldn't be flat. No, your citation defies what this dip angle correction actually does. So if we're not correcting to curve, that's not what we physically and actually do out on the boat, then your spurious citation makes no sense. It's still a straight line correction to surface level. It's still a straight line. It never curves. It's an angle. And when you correct it, it's to surface level, not surface curve, regardless of your stupid definition that contradicts itself. Curves aren't having no part higher or lower than the other, as it described in the first part of the citation. This is a contradictory, nonsensical, glurf definition, and it won't help your original argument because we're not correcting to curve with angles. Is that clear?
Do you realize that the straight line can be touching a curve? That this doesn't contradict one another? And in fact, this is the definition of a tangent. It has to involve both a curve and a flat line.
Yeah.
It's from a sphere to a sphere, isn't it?
Dude.
We're measuring from the surface level, and you're getting a tangent to a sphere, you assume. No, we're utilising the horizon for this. We're not pointing out these lines in points in space. When you do it in that manner, you're in the centre of hell, as has been on screen for the entire time we've had this discussion. So now we're into globe burgers. So we're measuring planes that start in hell.
The plane doesn't start in hell. It starts on your left. You project horizontal plane from your position.
Welcome to Flat Earth. So there's a horizontal plane from your position then.
Yeah, and
we establish that with the horizon, don't we?
You don't. You establish it.
Oh, so we're not using the sextant, ladies and gentlemen.
You do use the sextant.
Oh, we do. So you just lied. So we don't use it when it's inconvenient because we're establishing a plane with it, but we do use it. Yes, you're a liar. We do use it with the horizon to establish that plane.
So when I use the horizon...
So he's not confessing, he's asking me something. Yeah, we are using the horizon to establish this plane. I need a yes. You said no, and then said we were afterwards, and are now moving on. So is this going to be 12 times 2? Yes. We will be establishing that plane you just detailed and will be required with the horizon, aren't we?
So no corrections.
So stutter for me, I'll just keep asking. So we are establishing that plane with the horizon, aren't we?
No, you don't.
So he's saying that we don't use the sextant to establish a horizontal plane of reference exactly as he just detailed. So we're not establishing a horizontal plane of reference with the sextant.
You don't. You apply the dip correction to your directly measured angle because the angle itself wouldn't work.
He's a lying shit, isn't he?
Dude. He's either a compulsive liar or clearly has no understandings.
He's a
of
compulsive
celestial
liar.
religion and the purpose of a sex, which is probably why he suggested taking a spirit level on board his boat to ascertain his
Obfuscate
horizontal
and lie at any cost. Lying shit. That is precisely what you do with the sextant. Dip correction, what, like the one you wouldn't concede 12 times, is corrected to surface level? Well, you must prove surface level is level. Yeah, that's what we're dealing with. All we're trying to do is establish a horizontal plane. That's the purpose. Now, when we do, you'll say it's tangential. No, we're using the horizon for it. And then he'll lie. No, we're not. Yes, we absolutely are. This man's a liar.
I started out he thinks that eye level is horizontal. Does he accept that eye level is horizontal?
This guy squirmed, refracted right from the beginning. And the reason I asked him, what in your ball world is the horizon? And we need a definition of what forms the horizon in his ball world that he's going to draw a tangent to. What is he drawing a tangent to? Once he's done it, Nathan, take him to the Black Swan.
So what are we drawing a tangent to? Is it a physical geometric sphere edge horizon that we see when we line up the sextant to get a horizontal plane with a horizon that's a geometric sphere edge, right?
You draw the tangent to the surface of the ball, of the sphere.
So it's a geometric physical sphere edge horizon then?
You also have refraction of this.
Is that a yes?
Yeah, it's
Black Swan.
Tangent point.
Stop. Black Swan. You're unfamiliar with the Black Swan?
I'm not.
Well, then I'll tell you. If the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance that geometric tangent point you've just claimed the horizon is could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as per your Earth curve maths, with a parallel surface level and eye level. Distance to horizon in the Black Swan is beyond the physical geometric limitations inferred in a mathematical calculation that derives a geometric point below surface level when utilising eye level at an altitude, with 1.2 times the square root of that altitude being the claimed distance to the physical limitation called Earth curve. Therefore, the horizon is not Earth curve. The Black Swan shows it's 10x the distance that you would claim it's physically geometrically tangent to your ball with this straight line running to it. What is it? No Atmo Day?
No, obviously the atmosphere exists.
So you haven't got a
even
straight line then?
I have a straight line to the
So
apparent
it's
image of
no
the Earth.
atmo day then. No atmo day straight line because it's no atmo day.
The line,
Stutter
the
for me.
light travels
How
to
do
the
they taste? So it's no
I'm not
atmo day. You've got this
stuttering,
straight
you're just
line
interrupting
tangent
me.
because it's no atmo day, right? No atmo day.
No. When
So
you're
you've got a
discussing
bent line
physics
then.
concepts,
So it's a bent line then. So it's all stop stuttering through me, you little bitch. So you've got a bent line then, refracted then, not a tangent then.
when I start speaking and you interrupt me and I just continue
So
speaking
you little
over
bitch.
you, it's not me
Is it bent?
It's not.
Is it bent or is it no atmo day?
Then it's not me interrupting you. It's you getting
Is it
triggered
bent
because you cannot be a piece
or
of
is
shit
it no
to other
atmo
people.
day?
Again, you cannot articulate physics concept in
Is
a
it
couple
bent?
of
Is
words
the line
because
bent, therefore not a tangent? Or is it no atmosphere day where there's no sphere-shaped air and it is a straight line to a physical geometric sphere edge horizon called Earth curve? That's 5 times, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe you'd like to tell me what I'm not going to do. Black Swan! So it's bent, right?
the line that
The line. Is it bent or not?
again the line
Is it a bit of a
I'm going to
malfunction
just
moment?
continue
Does not
speaking.
compute. Is it bent? Yeah. So it's definitely not a tangent then, dum-dum.
Yeah.
Yeah? So that's another welcome to flat Earth moment. Your assertion that you can infer a geometric horizon tangent point. What is it? No atmo day, dum-dum.
Again, I won't be butchering my arguments because you have such.
Your argument just fell on its arse, dickhead. You said you had a tangent to a physical geometric sphere edge Earth curve edge. Oh, what is it? No atmo day? What did you forget about? Refraction. Oh, that buggers up your tangent line, doesn't it? Meanwhile, we're correcting to a horizontal plane of reference known as surface level. This whole load of old bollocks failed on its arse. He didn't have enough straight line. It wasn't no atmo day. He didn't have his geometric inference. It all failed. Black Swan. And now he's stuttering like a complete bitch. The line. What, the straight line you needed at tangency to a globe edge? Hey, Roofy, pay attention. This is what would happen to you. You would be called a bitch too as I add you over this exact barrel. Yeah? Make sense, Roofy? How's that geometric horizon working out, son? Like it'd be working out for EMBO here. So is it bent, my little bitch friend? Stutter the line for me. The line. Did he run? Hey, Roofy. Yeah, that's what I'd expect Ruhif to do too. Run. Run like a little bitch to his audience that needs to be told that he'd have won on a neutral platform. Right, Roofy? That little bitch knew it was the end, because he was caught between his geometric horizon at a tangent point or a no atmo day, bent line, no tangent. What's he going to do? He's caught between a rock and a hard place, the exact same one Ruhif's caught between. So when it comes to shove, he ran like a little bitch. After stuttering about the line that's bent that isn't a tangent, because it's not no atmo day. Oh, how it was beautiful when we put the Black Swan to people like Ruhif. And they told us all about how atmosphere bends the light. What are you idiots? Didn't you forget? We got refraction. Until the base premise of their entire geometric assertion falls on its arse. Yeah, welcome to flat Earth, you chanting little bitch.
That base premise that he was trying to establish through all of that, he asserted eye level as his initial horizontal plane. And I was asking him if he accepted eye level was horizontal. Did he ever answer that, or did he move on to something else?
He skirted, which is why I'm trying to get him to ascertain what his horizon was, because he say it's level, but then he would skirt around trying to allude it to Earth curve.
Yeah,
She's
but I
still
just
great
wanted
into
to
the black
know.
swan.
Right, but eye level doesn't necessarily invoke a horizon. I just wanted him to, because he invoked the horizontal plane at his eye level. I just wanted him to clarify.
That's when he went. That's why he took a spirit level on his boat, refracted. Yeah, because he realised. Yeah, he's at sea. How is he going to ascertain a level?
That's a shame. They know that eye level's the horizontal plane that you're going to reference, and the way that you'll get your level to take the measurement is with respect to surface level. There's two flat planes that they know they have to utilize in the measurement, and it's like they know it's flat to believe that they're on a sphere. That's crazy, but that's what they're doing.
That was fun.
You guys realized that
Nicely
the
done, Nathan.
squilling pig guy the past week. He came back for more.
There's no excuse for that guy, John. At least you had an excuse. They know about measurements now. What's their excuse?
I don't know.
He'll be back
I don't
later
know
on.
at this point.
And then he said he never heard of the black swan. It's full of crap.
Yeah,
If you
and
don't
he
have,
gets- I was going to say, and then he gets wrapped up in the Chocolatesian paradox.
yeah, but the thing is, like, if you don't have any measurement, which you need, how are you going to apply any geometry to anything if you can't measure it?
With bendy lines.
But you can't get geometry with bendy lines. You need straight lines to define curves. You know, it's never going to happen.
I wasn't watching the Discord server. I didn't notice the point that he ran away. Did anybody else clock the moment that he ran? Presumably after he started stuttering, the line, the line, the line. He knew he was fucked. They'd rather
utilize.
They'd rather run than concede. They'd literally rather run away like cowards than concede. Isn't that pathetic?
Yeah, but very telling to the audience. And that's all that matters. I don't have to win the debate. It's been demonstrated. I know I've won it. Yeah. And you just hope the audience heard the point that he ran, where he's caught in, like I said, that Chocolatesian paradox, where he needs a straight line, but to maintain his ball belief, he has to bend the line, therefore taking away any plausibility of generating a parallel plane by a dip correction to a curved horizon.
I think they run when it becomes cognitively too painful. They can't square the circle in their own mind. They can't keep the circle jerk going with us any further. You're stuck between bent line and no tangency in no Atmo day. And there's nowhere to go. That's it. They're screwed. That's what Black Swan does. You were right to call it at that moment, Adam, as well.
Yeah, but he was done when he started talking about the height of the ship. He was already done.
Yeah. Well, you want him cooked completely.
Their religion has a paradox at the very beginning of it. And they claim that there are two measurements that sit in contradiction. There's the localized plane. I'm doing the air quotes that you measure, but you also measure curvature with this tangent, supposedly.
Yep. Do you know the very best way of showing that mathematically? Biruni. The contradiction is literally the essence of the Biruni magic. Measure a flat Earth and then curve the line you just measured with reference to for the height of the mountain, and then draw tangency to it. The Al-Biruni story is to say this is how we bend Earth's surface when measuring it flat. That's what Biruni's doing.
When we take the dip, this again is Brian's coup de grace. Which would you like, curvature or perspective? Now, when they take the dip, they invoke curvature for the differential. Yeah, but we all know perspective is still at play because you're looking at something in the distance, aren't you? Well, that's what the dip correction is. That differential between the height of a eye above the surface and the angles of observation, they become more or less based on the height of the eye above the parallel plane. That's where Brian's little bit he's put out recently. Make your choice. Do you want perspective or curvature? But you can't have both because dip never describes what it does. It just describes the function based on your height of eye. It never in any of the Bowditch's books or anything until the later ones do they formulate it into a physical straight line to a geometric curve edge, which again is where they struggle. Yeah? But it's that point. It's at the point again of denying perspective. Flurspective, as they attacked us with.
What can I use for the thumbnail for today's show? I've used just their logo on the last two shows. I don't want to just change the number. It's got to be something Logistics related.
Stick up the black swan. It's her that won it.
No, because this is the after show. He's talking about the main show, aren't you?
Yeah.
Globe dumpsters. I like that one. Huey uses that quite a bit. It's pretty good.
Our kid's just had a seizure. I'll be right back. Yep. Wonderful.
Okay.
Yes,
Finished.
Cuddling onto her mother.
It's the little one.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you guys will keep chatting just while I sort this out. Not that there's anything to do.
Well, I'll ramble a bit if you wish. So I was reading Master B yesterday and saw Eric Dubay's video pop up. Someone I've never bothered to make contact with in all the years. And I watched it, and there was parts of it I liked, and parts of it that I had real objection to based on the work those guys have done. So I sent him a little message asking if he got 5 minutes. And he's bothered to get back in touch with me straight away this morning. I watched it this morning and then just texted him, he got 5 minutes for a chat. He's contacted me on X, and we're now just chatting on WhatsApp. But maybe I'll just read what I sent him. Are you there, QE? I copied you in, didn't I?
Yeah, I'm in and out. But go ahead, Adam. I loved their message. It was outstanding.
So I'll give it a little read. So if you've seen the video, I won't need to reference it, but good stuff. But a little frustrating for us guys, I think, in terms of Eric clarity on the scientific method, what it does, what it doesn't do. Anyway, I'll read the letter. Hello, sir. A pleasure to make contact after 10 years. Enjoyed the video, but could I make a comment? Not to attack, but for you to please communicate to people. The shape of the Earth is not a question for science to answer. Science elucidates a cause and effect relationship. It is based upon the initial observation of a natural phenomenon, the dependent variable. From this, we can develop a suggested cause, the independent variable. To test this relationship or hypothesis, we must take it to experiment. If supported by experiment, we can affirm our hypothesis, which will describe that the cause of A is B, thus furnishing scientific proof. It is only if this method is not followed, but is claimed to be scientific, that it becomes pseudoscience. This is the main point we at Flat Earth Debate have been arguing with Globebusters, Jeranism, Witsit, etc. It is the point that the above people choose to call us scammers when we say science proves things. I hope you could detail this a little more in your future videos. On a final point, I do not know if you watch Flat Earth Debate, but for the past year we have been referencing celestial navigation, not as a counter to disprove a ball, but to make the positive assertion that the Earth is measured, observed, navigated, and aviated flat. I look forward to your response, and maybe, if you're willing, future engagement. Kind regards. And we've made contact since then, and hopefully we'll continue to do so.
Well said.
Very well done. A bit more diplomatic than Dell, I'll give you that.
The video's great.
Did he respond to that? No.
I've asked him, because we've made contact on WhatsApp now, and I've just said, look, would you have a quick read and come back to me on the detail? We've, done pleasantries, etc., and chatted for a little bit. And I've just left it with, would you just have a little read of what I sent you? He's obviously interested, otherwise he'd have just left it, wouldn't he? So, and it was after that letter that we exchanged WhatsApp details to communicate further. So hopefully it's the beginning of something fruitful where, we can share our learning with Eric, and hopefully he can disseminate it through his massive audience. But I didn't see any objection. Like I say, I'll wait for comment.
Well, as far as I understand it, he's not caught up on no ether train, is he? That would cause him to not accept information.
No. It was just that within that video, there were still certain points where science could demonstrate, you could use science for the shape of the Earth. And I mean, his critique of Scientism, I don't disagree with. It was just literally the comparison with science, and then the mixing up, I think, a little bit of the term pseudoscience, hence the points I outlined in the message.
Hey, Eli.
Hey, what did I miss? Y'all started super early, man.
Did I?
Yeah, 7:50 my time. So that would be before, whenever, like an hour before your show premiere.
Yeah, I'm keen. It's because my wife's off work. She's booked the week off work because it's my birthday week. Not that normally people get a week off, but any excuse. So it meant that I'm not waiting for her to finish off work.
Oh,
I can just
happy
start whenever I
birthday.
like.
Happy birthday. Happy day.
Yeah. Thanks. It was yesterday, or the day before yesterday, actually.
When is it too late to say happy birthday? Like these people that say happy New Year's into freaking March.
When you're dead. If they're dead, that would be tasteless.
If it's a couple of days and you didn't see the person, then you wish them a happy birthday, like the next time you see him. I think that's reasonable. If it's like a week later, then, Anyway.
Well, I was going to
So
say
did you
2
hear
weeks,
that,
but
Nathan?
I guess that's too long.
I don't
I
like
didn't know. You
that
just sat
first
down
day.
when Eli
I
came
was
in.
conceived.
I sat down and Eli came in, so no.
Yeah, Eli, did you get to hear the? You use the horizontal plane of eye level to get a tangent that is curving, that's not a tangent to a point that you can no longer measure. Discussion a few minutes ago.
Look,
I missed it. But as convoluted as they are, I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it went.
Yeah. The guy bailed when he was caught between a rock and a hard place of no atmo day for a tangent or atmo day no tangent.
Yeah, what they have is a straight line to a horizontal line. We don't have a tangent.
That is true. Sea level is also a horizontal plane in the mathematics, 90 degrees to vertical. It's the source plane of reference. I don't see how you can avoid it.
Yeah, if the horizon was curving like they say left to right, in every length of the horizon you would have a different reading. But it measures zero slope. There is no slope on the horizon. It's horizontal.
If you are on a ball and we're going to use a variable horizon, which isn't straight by its own definition, to ascertain a level, and you would have to know the distance to the horizon to be able to calculate, yeah? But we all know that's not what happens, yeah?
And even if it did, you wouldn't be able to get an elevation angle from a curved level. You're not helping yourself, even if it did.
The axiom of the GP position would mean that the point of ground position of the star that you've ascertained with your flat Earth elevation angle wouldn't be commensurate with the surface you're trying to navigate also.
Well, no, you couldn't get
sea
an
level
angle because like when he was trying to get a horizontal plane he could take angles from. That's his eye level, but he's wanting to say level's curving. So the curved adjacent it's just right there in his language. You can't get out of it.
Sorry, John. Sea level is already a measurement of Earth. Sea level. It's been established a long time ago. It's in the name.
Well, they think it's not a measurement of Earth unless you measure the entirety of Earth with a tape measure.
Hey, one deck.
That's what they're saying.
But that's a bull crap claim. Because that's their claim, not our. Like nobody's. You can't do something unless you become the king of Azhar. Like what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like temperature. What's the length of temperature? Is no people are going to look at you like you're retarded, but it's okay to ask us why this angle measurement isn't the measurement of the entirety of Earth. Are you kidding me?
If we're going to use the horizon to ascertain a level, there are certain axioms that we're going to employ. The first is that to be able to use the horizon, we have to have the knowledge that we are formulating the horizon as we view across a flat plane. And then that formation of the horizon isn't anything in physicality, it's a point of ocular limitation. And because we've got an infinite flat plane expanding way beyond the point we can see, we can and the non-effective, and as mentioned earlier, our height above the deck and how that will slightly affect our perspective and the resolution point of our optical dissolution to ascertain level, which is the surface that we're using.
I don't know if it was my speakers or you, Adam, But did everyone else hear him okay, or do I need to drop and rejoin?
Yeah, I thought it was me as well.
No, he broke up for me as well.
Crappy reception. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you use Chinese
Can you hear me
satellite.
now?
You!
I thought, Adam, could you repeat what you said? I'm sorry. I thought they.
Yeah. There's certain axioms that you have to work with if you're going to use the horizon to ascertain a level. There's one adjustment you make for, and that's the height of eye. Okay? And that height of eye is the knowledge that the higher the eye is above the limiting deck, because you've got an open deck to the sky and a limiting deck. Now, those angles change based on your height of eye above it, above the flat deck. But we have the knowledge that the formation of the horizon is not a physical point, it's a point of optical dissolution, i.e. we're viewing across an infinite plane. Yeah? And it's these certain axioms that allow us to ascertain a level with the knowledge that the deck that we're viewing across is an infinite plane, and its optical dissolution point will be equivalent to a parallel, subject to the mitigation of the altered angles based upon the height of the eye above the deck. That's what IP is there for. But it's a recognition that we're using the laws of perspective and the knowledge we have a flat plane to ascertain a level. If we had a curved surface, we would not be able to ascertain a level. I mean, what would it be level to in any case? But it's those fundamentals that the deck is flat, and we use perspective and the knowledge of how high the eye is above that flat deck and the angle limitations to it to determine a level.
Very good.
Yeah,
I'm going to
like
thank
for me.
you. Sorry.
No, go ahead. If you have a further point to make, go ahead.
No, it was a separate one.
It's trying to get level to not be horizontal. It sounds crazy. Like if you were talking to someone and it wasn't within this topic or about this subject, they'd say, "Yeah, level's horizontal. It has to be." You know, they would think you were dumb if you tried to argue against it. But as soon as you get in this topic, people just, it's like they get dumb all of a sudden.
Yeah, but we're talking about the guy who claimed the measure the curvature of level. It's so moronic, man.
I think that was the same guy.
I'm just saying, George and
Yeah,
Nathan,
it's the same guy.
I was on with him for about 40 minutes yesterday.
And the shape of level.
And I started out by not allowing him to use. I've got 22 words that I just don't allow him to use. And every time they use the word, I stop him. And he was, after about 15, 20 minutes, he was getting very frustrated with that. Then we got onto the topic, what you've just been through with him, with the elevation angle and using the sextant. And he was basically saying level is curved, but horizontal's not curved. And the places that they go, it was just the exact same conversation. I didn't take it to the Black Swan, but he didn't run away from me, but he was getting I could feel he was getting pushed into a corner because every time he used one of my words, I just said, "You're not allowed to use that word because it's got nothing to do with curvature."
Right. And there's so many of them that we don't really even think about, like above and below. Right. They're with respect to an object in a horizontal plane of reference, right? Because it's above it if that line, that horizontal plane, is below the object. It's There's so many things that we say that require Earth to be a plane, and it's just like people have forgotten.
Well, I've got 22 words, and I might, I might even add to that. I'll use them words, John, if you don't mind. I might get it up to 30. Yeah,
but they didn't forget. Like, they didn't forget. They're under a spell. Words that mean things mean something else, given a certain context. You know, if you're on the construction site at the job, then level is level. But if you're arguing with a retard flat earther, then level is not level. Like, all of a sudden, this switch happens in your brain.
Because level is level, because that word cannot be used when talking about curvature. It's got nothing to do with curvature or curvature measurement, so they shouldn't be using it. They can't use it. So you tell them they're not allowed to use it because it's nothing to do with what they're trying to prove, and then they have to change the definition of the word. They'll use the word, but the definition changes now.
Yeah, and like just John said, up and down is on the perpendicular to the horizontal plane. Yeah, you're gonna need a horizontal plane for that.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much anything you're going to describe in reality that has a geometric position will be with respect to a flat plane. It just has to be. Even when they describe the sky curving, it's with respect to a flat plane. When they try to describe level curving from level, it's with respect to level. It's insane, but that's what they do.
Yeah, they want to bring a level to measure level. It's nonsensical, man.
A lot of times I wonder if they know what measurements are, because I don't think people realize the significance of what a measurement is and why they're so important when you're discussing things with people,
Yeah, but they'll bring in the theodolite. They're going to need to level it out, and then the theodolite is level, not curving. So they have two different definitions for level, depending of the circumstance. See, level on my theodolite, yeah, it's level. How do you know it's level? Because I used my leveling tool to level it out. So what about the sea level? Oh, sea level is curved. We get the level from liquid water. They forget about that.
Yeah, but and that's it right there. Level is tied to horizontal because of the horizon, because sea level, the water level appearing to meet the sky, that's where we get that understanding. That's why it's so axiomatic. You're not going to curve it. It won't, nothing will work then. It throws everything into disarray.
Yeah, it's been game over for a long time. We're just sharpening it up even further.
I wonder if the astronauts ever tune in and start sweating about it,
What, in the pressurized contained suits?
Yeah, the people that say that when they go up, they're going out. I said to my second grade teacher one time, I conflated between up and out, and she scolded me and said up and out are not the same thing. If I only knew now or knew then what I know now. you know?
At floor level, Neil.
See them level floors?
But that is exactly it, isn't it? We're not learning much new things, you know. We all learn these things. They, like you say, they are axiomatic. You know, it's primordial. You know, to know the meaning of these words, like level and horizontal and vertical and plumb. You know, or a right angle
Right. So then what's wrong
triangle.
with that guy Ian
You know,
then?
it's in our language. It's sea level.
Right.
Nowhere
So
says
what's wrong with
sphere.
that dude then?
He knows something that contradicts what he believes. That's what it comes down to. I mean, and it's not an easy contradiction to maintain at the best of times if it's pointed out. But here, you know, Nathan's rubbing salt into that wound. And so you get things like stuttering and outbursts of anger. It's kind of expected.
Yeah, they're in pain.
Their religion is collapsing around.
Yeah, well, their whole world is. For them, it's their world. And Nathan's taking a dump on it in front of, and it's happening in front of people. You know, it can't be easy to deal with.
Deep religious belief.
Yeah, but this is equivalent to you approaching someone and you say, "Give me that ball." You're not allowed to play with it anymore. You take it away the ball. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna throw a tantrum. You remove my ball away. That's what's happening.
For real though.
Can't remove the ball. Let them play with
Yeah,
it.
I hated the kid in the neighborhood that took his ball and went home. When it didn't go his way, he'd take the ball and go home.
No, that ain't even fair. Look at like the Matrix when Neo got out of the Matrix, right? The first thing he did was throw up when he realized they were telling him the truth, right? You can't compare it to something as just simple as a ball. You're taking away everything they thought they knew.
I think that's a good comparison though, because they're about as mentally equipped to deal with that situation as the kid is to deal with the ball being taken away.
But who is though? If someone come up and completely annihilated your understanding, you may take it well, but probably not. People aren't.
Wait a second, John, you didn't find out you were a freaking battery. There's a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
If someone unequivocally proved that the Bible was not real, that would shatter my worldview nonetheless. So you would
That's
make
a
a good
total
point.
impossibility. Let's use something else.
But I wouldn't cling onto it, I don't think.
Come back.
Hey, so let me ask this question. If the Bible wasn't true, would that change any necessary logical propositions that lead to the ontological primitive proving that a creator is necessary for everything else?
No, that's outside of the analogy we were talking about. We're just trying to make it to where it's not them being like a baby when their worldview is completely shattered. We don't want to be cruel about this, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, because a person's worldview, especially about their home, is imprinted on their psychological developmental stage when they're a child. It's actually part of their ego identity. Unless they've parsed it out prior, you're actually attacking them as an entity when you take away their own quote unquote. So the mind perceives it as an attack against the self, because the death of part of your ego is the death of part of yourself. So it's basically you fight it like you're fighting for your life.
But isn't that a good description of anti-flat earthers?
Think about it this way, friend. If you live on a globe Earth versus a flat Earth, you still live well, I'm just using a specific example. You still live within certain base axioms that are also true. But if you have somebody like a Scott Mackey, if you guys know who he is, an ardent atheist, his entire top-down worldview is based on that premise. If he found out that God was real, that would be, or sorry, if he finally admitted that God was real, he would be suffering.
Oh yeah, yeah. I ain't trying to say that. I'm just saying it as close to a religious experience as you could get is what they're on the. They're trying to keep themselves from experiencing, and that's what flat Earth represents to an anti-flat earther. They really, really don't want to be a flat earther.
Well, isn't that what a bunch of dudes that are responsible for a lot of the heliocentric ideas have said, essentially in their own words? That they restrict their apparatus of investigation to exclude certain possibilities. So everything they do has to be interpreted through their philosophical and predispositional lens, which is entirely a metaphysical lens, right?
Yeah,
by excluding portions of reality. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it was Hubble that said the preferred position must be avoided at all costs. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing it. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, he's not the only one, right? Yeah, nearly. This reminds me of that one video, 200 quotes from figureheads of the heliocentric model throughout the years, and nearly all of them have similar quotes. Like you could see the bias to resist where the evidence leads, just dripping off their words.
I took that as a moment for reflection, but it may be lasting too long. Has anybody got anything interesting that's happened over the last month?
Yes, I came across an article of a dude, or not just a dude, he's like a PhD and all this other accolades, analyzing alleged photographs from the moon landings. The quote unquote astronauts were allegedly standing on the moon, and that would mean that the features of geography behind them, if this were a true claim, must be actual physical locations that exist, right? And so if you have a geography claimed, like let's say this mountain on the moon is 1 kilometer or greater from the landing site, and that means it should be 1 kilometer or greater in physical free space. So he analyzed all these photos with dubbed by the article stereoscopic parallax projections or something like that. But I mean, we all understand parallax. Like if you have your thumb in front of your eyes and you shift eyes, the thumb is going to rapidly change location in your field of view as you close your one eye. But if you have your friend put his thumb on the far wall,
Yeah.
Oh man, you dropped out.
Oh, yeah, we got to thumb on the wall.
and you blink your eyes to attempt to achieve that effect, it's not going to happen. And there's going to be a certain range away from you where that effect is lost. And then all of a sudden it appears to you as if the object is not transposing any angular change within your field of view. Now, according to the alleged geography that they claimed the moon had and where they claimed they were pointing their pictures and what was in the backdrop, he analyzed that the alleged background shows demonstrable parallax that is dramatically greater than what it should be if it was greater than a kilometer away. And he did his little analyzations and found that everything is less than 300 meters away. And it's a really good article. He even talks about the transforms of curved backgrounds. Like you can use curved backgrounds to create an illusory dimensional effect when you're taking a photograph. Rather than painting a flat matte background, you paint a curved one, and that gives you more angles of approach to get different perspective effects. However, with modern technology, you're able to determine whether that was done, and he did that, and he found that with a warped mesh, he got almost pixel for pixel accuracy to the images on the moon. Again, demonstrating that probably, in light of the fact that you have evidence of curved backgrounds, evidence of parallax where there shouldn't be any, that all of these objects on the moon in the background were actually close and not the geography of the moon that they claim, because they don't have the physical relationships necessary to eliminate parallax. Therefore, they must be close. Therefore, the images are fake and most probably, if not certainly, a stage.
The interesting thing is if you're an anti-flat earther and listen to what you just said, they're probably going to grab a hold of curve.
Yeah,
at all that.
That'll be the one thing in that they picked up on, probably.
Yeah, but there's another one they could say, well, oh no, bro, parallax only happens when the Earth is on the other side of the sun 6 months from now.
Right. Yeah, when you're sitting in the passenger seat and it looks like you're going 45 and you get pulled over and get a speeding ticket, it's because of, nothing to do with parallax.
Yeah, relativity solves everything, right?
I'm going to post that article. Let's see, I posted in the main chat.
So you just mean as the camera pans, the background mountains don't parallax properly?
Well, he has still images, so he can't pan the camera. So what he's doing is so for example, homeboy A is standing on, let's say, the left side of the limb, right? And the other homeboy is out in the distance, and the guy next to the limb, you could tell that he's within a certain range of the limb, right? Like he's not a mile away from it, right? He's right next to it. And the other guy is in front of him, and he's taking a photo of him. And then you see the next picture, the guy who's taking the photo is supposedly standing further off to the left of the limb, because you could see the limb further off in the right of the camera, right? So he's moved to the left, tens of meters at best, right? But a tens of meters movement is not going to produce parallax in something that's a kilometer away, let's say, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's got something to reference the distance too, right?
Exactly.
So you can tell that it's supposed to be that far. Yeah, yeah.
All right, let me post this here. Where did it go? I lost it out on my clipboard. I'm gonna have to pull it to the server.
So my dad keeps watching Nathan Oakley debunked videos. He's never seen this stream at all once.
Naked Nathan Oakley debunked, did you say?
No, yeah, I don't know. I'm dyslexic. Whatever the speech version of that is. I told him you should go on that Discord. He'd get destroyed.
You want your dad to get destroyed on Discord?
Nah, not really. It'd be pretty embarrassing, to be honest. Be like, why'd you go on there, Dad?
So, the top of the article is dated July 20th, 2024, but I could have sworn somewhere in here he actually did this sometime in the past before that. But either way, it's recently resurfaced. So let's see. So the title is A Stereoscopic Method of Verifying Apollo Surface Images. There's a little bit of technical stuff in there, but like I said, if you understand that if your thumb is close, it jumps left and right, and if it's far away, it doesn't, then you know everything you need to know to be able to understand it.
Yeah. Problem is, that'll basically like prove that the shots are fake, but people still look at it and make excuses, which is sad.
And if the shots are fake and you want to maintain that they landed on the moon, then the most rational position is to say they did land on the moon, but they presented us false evidence for security reasons. Then you can keep believing it. So, if you're a superpower and your goal is to land on the moon and present that to the public, right, without fail, keep in mind, then it would behoove you to have two concurrent programs: one attempting to do it legitimately, and one willing to make a fake version of it, so that if the legitimate version fails, the fake version can carry the day, and you still have the same public perception, right?
The funniest part is it completely reveals that the Soviet Union and the United States were never at odds. They were always working together. against the public.
Not the Germans anymore.
I don't know. Russia was throwing shade at NASA about 7 months ago. Whoever the Russian equivalent to like the director of NASA, whatever they have, he said there's absolutely no evidence that the United States ever landed on the moon. I mean, it's all theater, but I mean, they did say just.
Yeah, but you'll never say that about the Russians. You'll never say that about what they're doing in space.
Oh yeah. Right. Well, Russians don't
They
care
give you a
about
little bit
landing
of
on the
truth.
moon. I mean, because like Russia's whole thing is they don't care about the moon. They were the first people to leave. That's their whole. That's what they hang their hat on. I mean, they were sending monkeys and stuff up like 5 years before we were able to supposedly do anything.
Those poor monkeys.
You telling me that Mir wasn't in outer space?
The
Poor
mirror.
monkeys running dead into the firmament. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what happened to them.
What about the space lab?
Was the space lab supposedly Russian?
What?
No,
ISS?
but
It's collaborative.
we are talking about nothing anyway. Let's consider that all these things actually exist in space, no?
Let's consider for a minute that Santa Claus exists.
What's up, guys? And anybody living in the United States, they'll know that the biggest mind molesting scam was to make the patriotic people feel that they don't believe in the lunar landing were not patriotic and they were communists. That was another mind molesting bull crap campaign they did. So if you denounced it, then all of a sudden you were a communist.
The sad thing is, though,
That makes sense. The biggest American achievement. It makes sense. How can you question the biggest American achievement? No one else succeeded up until now.
I got another one, bro. America
in human history.
America actually cured cancer, but Russia didn't want America to have it, so they destroyed it because they couldn't steal it and claim it. And then you'll say, "Why? I don't believe they ever did that." And I'd be like, "Oh, I guess you hate America."
Fuck commie.
Which is weird because it's trendy to be a communist now in the United States.
I don't know if it's trendy anymore.
Exactly. If you're not a socialist or communist, then you're a racist, conservative, anti-woman choice. It's a bunch of bullcrap.
I feel like that's most of the country now.
Well, it's Western countries. You don't have those issues in, say, Russia, for instance. They're not a pro-abortion country or.
People expect when it comes to this argument, and NASA and the moon landings to have a mini vanilla moment, We come to return this Grammy because actually everything was faked. It's never gonna happen. NASA will never gonna admit it, of course.
I like that, George. A Milli Vanilli Grammy moment. I love it. That was a good one. I never heard that metaphor. That's excellent.
Huey's flipping out at the minute, but with that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, hitting me up on PayPal, bailing me out of my overdraft, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.